What a magnificent Monday afternoon. Hope you made it through the weekend and ready for another week. Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks as always for listening. Thanks for watching the show. We very much appreciate it. And it's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, your one-stop shop. Casino, sports, live dealer, lottery, instance, all in one place at PlayAlberta.ca. And there is lots to talk about. This is the week. This is probably the week that's going to determine if the Jays really are still in the playoff race or if it's just a mirage. As they wake up today, they find themselves not a crazy ways out, 3.5 games back of Texas for the final wildcard spot. Problem is, Detroit's a game back of Texas. Minnesota and Cleveland are a game and a half. Baltimore's 2. Seattle is tied with Toronto at 3.5. So, you know what? I guess they've made up ground on Seattle. That's what you can say. So they'll have to win. And they play Boston 4 games starting tonight. The Red Sox have been red hot for a long time. Now, they have lost 2 in a row, but they had won 8 in a row. Prior to that, they had won 31 of 36 games. Ridiculous. On a heater are the Red Sox. And then after 4 games against the Red Sox, they play 3 against the Yankees. So if you look at it if the Jays can go 4-3 this week, you know what? They're probably still in the race. I think that's what they have to do. It would be nice if Seattle and Detroit, some of these teams start playing each other, because then at least you can gain. If you win, you can gain ground on somebody. But it's obviously a long shot, no question. But it will start tonight, and it's going to be Jamison Talon, which is a second start of the season tonight for the Blue Jays, as he's going on the mound for them up against Sonny Gray, 14-2. So yowzers! Like, hey, if you're the Jays, you know what? This is the one. Hey, if you win it, great. You're probably not expecting to win this game, but if you could somehow win the game today, then you're thinking, well, hey, you know what? The series starts off pretty good, and we got a chance moving forward, because then you got Sandoval versus Cease, right? Your ace going tomorrow. Imagine if it was Cease tonight. God, that'd be a hell of a matchup. So you would think the Jays with Cease on the mound, then they're the favorite in the second game. Looking ahead, Suarez and Soriano. I'd probably give advantage just on the pitching mound to Soriano. And then they'll wrap it up with a matinee with Toll and Scherzer. And I know Scherzer, his last start was all right, but I'd still probably give Boston. So if we're looking at it, it's probably split 2-2. The Jays, if they could go 2-2 against a team that's been this red hot, that would be, I think that would be good. Now, if you could somehow squeak out 3-1, that would be nice. But the odds are, of course, very low on that one. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Elks had a media film session today, I should call it, and they will be back on the practice field tomorrow. They'll be at Clark for a few days, and then they'll wheel into Commonwealth Stadium, get set for Saturday afternoon, 1:00 start against the Toronto Argonauts. I think there's 2 ways to evaluate the game against against Montreal. Montreal's a better team. And I tweeted out right out, they're better in all 3 facets of the game. They deserve to win. And sometimes you just got to tip your hat. The other team's playing better. And right now, Montreal's playing really good. Edmonton looks at it. And when I talk to Coach Kilm tomorrow, I'm curious about do they have every staff and everybody's different. I know that in hockey, sometimes they like to break it down in 7-game segments. Just, it's a long season. Hey, we want to win 4 out of every 7. That means you're winning a series. So I get why hockey would do that. Now, obviously in football, there's no series. It's a 1 game. So do they look at it at 6-game mark? Do they do it in 6s? Do they do it in 9s? We'll find out. But if you did it at the halfway point of the season, the Elks are 6-3. This is an organization that has not been good for a long time. Okay? So the fact that they're on pace for 12 wins is great. They're through the toughest part of their schedule when you look at days between games, you look at quality of competition, even travel, because they've played more road games than they played home games thus far. Now they're at home this Saturday. Then the following Friday, the 21st, they got Winnipeg. Then they'll get a bye. Then they're on that Monday game, of course, the Labor Day, the Classic in Calgary. Not a hard travel day. Then they'll come back and you know what? They're home. So really, they're not out of Alberta here for the next 5 weeks. That's a good thing. They're going to be rested. They faced Montreal and Saskatchewan, the other two top 3 teams in the league, and they sawed them off. They're 2-2. Now Montreal, hey, they were the better team, especially in the second half on Saturday. Let's make no mistake. And I just thought, even like from the opening quarter, the one thing was Edmonton struggled in tackling and blocking. They didn't create a lot on their return game, and they gave up a lot on the return game. And even when they had chances to minimize the damage from the offense of Montreal, they couldn't get it done. So we'll talk to Rick Walters. And I guess we kind of go around the CFL on Mondays for an hour with Rick, Grey Cup champion, longtime coach, OC. So we'll talk about it. Some of the play calling, like I don't understand in what world you have Justin Rankin touching the ball 7 times. Why? Unless he's banged up. That's the only thing that makes sense. He had 7 carries, and he had rushed for 62 yards. He had an 8.9 average per carry. Why the hell is he only holding the ball? And I know you're trailing. I don't care. He was giving you great production on first down. Lots of the time, 8 yards, 7 yards, 9 yards. You're like, thank you. Second and short all day long. So I didn't really understand because the game was tight. Like, look how many carries he had in the first half when the game was tight. I'm sorry. I don't love the play calling at times. Now, I did love when they gambled on 3rd and 5, but then it was a head scratcher when next series, Connor, it's only 3rd and 1. You kick the field goal, right? Like now I haven't had a chance to talk to Coach Kilm, but I'd like to know the mindset of like, we're going to gamble on 3rd and 5, but not 3rd and 1, both times in the red zone. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I was watching at the watch party. I said to Alex, who I was sitting with, I'm like, I don't like the challenge here or going for it when they did. They converted. I was wrong. But I also thought the mindset of Coach Killam was, okay, let's cut the lead to 4. We go to half. We get the ball back. We just march down the field. We're feeling good. The last thing we want to do is leave the field without picking up any points. But you got to get a stop defensively. You can't give up that big chunk play going the other way that allows Montreal to kick the field goal and totally wipe out what you just did. Like, you had momentum going into half, I thought, and they took it right back. I understood it. Did I agree with it? No. 3rd and 1, you got to be able to find a way to convert. And I know you failed a couple times against the Rough Riders, but move on. You know, you've got some more players back on the interior of that offensive line. Too many chances they had, Gregor, I thought, and they just kind of shot themselves in the foot. And that being said, the Alouettes started the game in that fashion. Like, a wide receiver throwing the football when you have Davis Alexander. Like, what are we doing here? So, yeah, missed opportunities. The Owls by far the better team. But I think there are some questions that'll have to go Killam's way about some of the calls that he made.
Yeah, well, that gambling on 3rd down definitely is him. I think on a play-by-play basis, like Rankin touching the ball 7 times, that's on your OC. I don't think that's on your head coach. Like, he, at times, I feel they're still a little passive in Jordan Maximic's offense. Just me a little bit. So, but hey, you know what? 6-3. Like I said, I think you kind of got to look at it both ways. The Elks are 6-3. They've won some big games at home. I think they've got the fans talking about their team again, feeling some pride around the green and gold. Those are all positive things. And now the expectation has changed. There's higher expectations around the team. And I actually think that's a good thing. You need expectations. You want your fans to feel like, you know what? If I go to the game, there's a good chance we could win. And for the longest time, you couldn't say that. You were hoping to win, but not always. And like, you go into this game on Saturday, people would look at Edmonton and say, okay, Edmonton's the favorite. which they are at playalberta.ca, but they're the legit favorite. I don't need a line to tell me that. And I'll say this, their DBs, you know what? You're going to get some opportunities to make plays against Chad Kelly. That guy right now, he is not afraid to throw an interception. I'll say that. It's now he throws a lot of passing yards, right? So he's passed for 2,672 yards. He has 18 touchdowns, which is tied for third most in the league. But he also has 13 interceptions in 8 games. 13 picks in 8 games. I got to look it up. Can you tell what's the CFL record, Connor? Please look it up. Most interceptions in a season. I want to guess it's like 22, something like that. Maybe 21. Maybe it's more. But I'd be curious, what's the CFL record for most interceptions in a season? Because, man, Chad Kelly, the way he's going right now, he might have a shot at it. No question in my mind. So now the Argos, hey, they're 4-4. They're a step below Edmonton, Saskatchewan, who are slightly below Montreal. And so you can't take them lightly by any stretch. But I think if Edmonton shows up and plays like they have for long stretches of the year, they'll have a good chance to win. You got to capitalize because you know Toronto's going to go after you. They will take shots. They will exchange touchdowns for interceptions almost. They've done it all year long. They're not afraid of it. Kelly, in a way, I kind of give him credit. He's not afraid to throw a pick. He will. Now, they're not all his fault. There's been a few deflections, but there's been a few where you're like, oof, that was a questionable decision by the quarterback. So we'll see where it is.
Sounds like Tom Dublinsky in 1955 threw 34 interceptions.
34. Okay.
30 touchdowns. He's like Jameis Winston.
34 interceptions. And then what's second? How close is the next guy?
Oh, I'd have to dig it.
Wow. I'll have to ask, might have to ask Brian. He probably knows that. We'll send him a note to find out, but we'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Some other news and notes from around. I thought the CFL weekend again, you know what? Had some entertaining games, man. Look at Hamilton. They've now BC didn't play great, especially in the first half, but came down to 3 points. Saskatchewan, Ottawa was close until about the final 20 minutes, and then Saskatchewan took over as we expected. The Toronto-Calgary game was entertaining for sure, and there continues to be 63 points, 62 points, 78 points, and the low game of the week was only 51 between Hamilton and BC. So if you like offense, which I'm a big fan, I believe in the regular season, fans want offense. Now, they would love it in the playoffs, but in the playoffs, you're just win. I don't care if we win 3-0. Just win in the playoffs. And it doesn't matter so much, but I think in the regular season, fans like to see lead changes. They like to see it go back and forth. I think that's way better and much more entertaining. So we'll get to all of that. Hey, boys, Double E took a butt kicking, but they're actually winning this year. I hope there's at least 20K on Saturday. I'm coming from Victoria for the game, no matter what the Fire say. Hope the weather's okay for the game. They better use Rankin more on Sunday or Saturday from Jay in Victoria. Well, Jay, I agree wholeheartedly on your last statement that they better use Rankin more. I would see no reason why the crowd won't be big. Think about it. You're an Elks fan. You go to the games, and I know that at home they're 3-1, and the game they lost by 2 points. It came right down to the end. So there's reasons to go to the game. You feel good about it. Their next 2 home games, I don't see any reason why they can't be close to 25,000 both games. It's a Saturday afternoon, 1:00, and then a Friday night. No reason not. Friday nights in August, man, usually it's pretty good weather. It's warm, not too warm. It's awesome. So hopefully it goes that way. But Gregor was a bad call because they had the ball back to Alexander with a minute left. Even if they would have not converted the third, Montreal doesn't have time to drive the field. Killer made those mistakes last season from HD. Well, I think the mistake, HD, was the horrible tackling on the pass that came from Alexander. You as a coach aren't expecting your team to miss 4 tackles on one play. So I agree. Now, when you say that Montreal doesn't have time to drive the field, what are you talking about? What if they would have passed incomplete? That's not going to run off any more time significantly than if they would have kicked the field goal. So I don't necessarily agree with that. To me, it's if they get the first down, now you can make 2 more plays. And if worse, you're kicking a field goal in the last play of the half. So that's the part where, I look at it and said, to me, it was worth the gamble. 1 yard, you'd already gambled and scored a touchdown, and you kind of made it look easy. Cephas, he was wide open on that play. So it seemed odd to me that you would and look at Fajardo. Now, I know the players always want to gamble, but you see his reaction? And he's not, you can tell him and the team were annoyed that they didn't go for it right there. And I think sometimes his coaching is you got to trust in your players at certain key moments of the game. Now, that's not going to change. If Edmonton gambles there, now, if they score, we'll never know. Would they have dominated the second half? I don't know. I thought Montreal, even when the game was close up until that point, Montreal had been the better team. Edmonton was having a struggle tackling. I don't know if that was going to change because they would have gambled on 3rd and 1. I thought their struggles to tackling were their struggles to tackling. So either way, it could be a learning experience. You're best to have that in week 9 rather than in the playoffs. So I would think if you look back on it, and it's always hindsight's great, but it's not hindsight for me because even if he gambles and doesn't work, I still think it's a good gamble. You can trust your defense to say, we're not going to give up 105 yards. Hell, we're not going to give up 65 yards. You would think you should have the faith in your defense because they have been the number 1 defense all year. So I think they've earned that, right? That's why, because it's not just a shot at your offense. I think it's a little bit of a shot at your defense when you don't gamble there to say, hey, man, even if we don't make it, I'm not too worried. These guys are going to have to march down almost the length of the field. So I would have went for it. And I was screaming at the TV at the time. I'm like, what are they doing? Go for it. So I think most fans had a similar reaction than Cody Fajardo because it looked like they were going. It was kind of like a delayed decision on it. So either way, makes it fun to talk about it now, the Elks. Now, the big news that we'll find out tomorrow is the status on Kenny Logan Jr. because that's a big loss. If he's out, that is a significant loss for their defense. They obviously have depth at the middle linebacker position, and I think, Mogensen can go play there. I'm just not sure if he's as good in coverage. Actually, I don't think he is. I think he's better in the box, but I think they'll give up something in coverage. And in that position, there's more coverage. That's what you're asking from their linebacker there. So, and the other thing, Cons, it's happened a few times, but this receiving core, they drop the ball too much on passes that are right in their hands.
Yeah, probably cost them 2 games last year, straight up balls that would have won them football games. They dropped. That's not circumstantial. If they do this, it would have won them football games. Yeah, it is a bit of a problem. And one hand, if it's off target, you can try to find a way to give them a little bit of a break. But when it hits you in the numbers the way it has, it's unacceptable. They've got to clean that aspect up.
Before I go, Colin, did you see the new trend that's going on in college down south? Now, obviously, I know that college is a big thing in the U.S. and for college teams and everything, but being part of a group and a club and a sorority is a big deal. There are parents that are paying up to $6,500 for a sorority rush coach. And they charge anywhere from $3,000 to $12,000 to offer advice on securing outfits and auditing social media profiles. So how you have a better chance of getting in a sorority. Certain things I just can't understand, right? I can't come on here and rip it because I don't really understand the importance of it being part of a sorority. But it seems like just somebody has a lot of extra money to spend, and the smart people, these rush coaches, have figured out what it is. You know what? Hey, if you have this outfit, you're going to get into this sorority. Always new job opportunities, Cons. They're popping up all over.
I was going to say, as soon as you brought this up, I thought some people have too much money.
Yeah.
Good on those people who can.
Well, good on the people who came up with the idea.
Yeah, exactly.
But wow, that's quite the gig.
I wonder if the Duke had to pay to get into Farmhouse.
Oh my God.
Someone got him some new Wranglers.
Like I wonder what he had to do to get into his 4-H club.
Oh, good question.
Right? What are they doing now? Like, what do you got to do to get into 4-H in 2026? Anything special you got to do? Let us know. 833-401-1440. Take a quick break. We'll return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The second half is yours. Lock in your seat with our new 5-game season pass and get a $25 voucher. Half season, full energy. Get your season pass at GoElks.com. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year.
Don't let rookies scratch your custom wheels. Evolve Wheels and Tires uses premium touchless equipment designed to protect your wheel and tire investment. Trust the enthusiasts at Evolve Wheels and Tires, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit JapaEquipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Come on down to the Brick. The Price is Right live event is on now. Enter in-store for your chance to instantly win from over $1 million in prizes. No purchase necessary. Then shop incredible savings throughout the store, like up to $2,220 off select sectionals, up to 40% off select mattresses, up to 20% off select major appliances, and up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus, finance with 0% interest and equal monthly payments on qualifying purchases. Hurry in before these offers end August 12th. The Brick, saving you more.
Smart, connected, community driven. Jason Gregor sets the standard for sports talk in Edmonton. Join the conversation on Sports 1440. Text Gregor 833-401-1440. Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
I missed one payment, then another. Now I feel behind on everything. I can't keep up.
Falling behind happens to more people than you think, but there is a solution. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. Together, we can create a plan that fits your situation and helps you get caught up and back in control. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the one, yeah, we're out. Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimate your payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting, but crunching numbers, yeah, not so much. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all sevens.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Nation Golf Tournament, Friday, August 28th, 2026 at Millwoods Golf Course. Golf, drinks, swag, food, and fun. Every swing supports Gregor's Graft and helps graduates shine on graduation day. Sign up at nationexperiences.ca before it sells out.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
225. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Declan Cougar, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's always brought to you by title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where, of course, you can get in on the action if you like. Jason Gregor Show always has a few odds boost specials for you. We have a little Blue Jays Bonanza today, Halley's picks, and we have a little early CFL involving the Elks game and the Lions game. So check that out at playalberta.ca. We're going to be joined by Aaron Grimes in a few moments. We've got Rick Walters coming up, Bill Bender. KK, Kevin Karius will be filling in for Spec this week on the, we'll call it the Karius Report, Spec Report with Karius, whatever. Steve Conroy will go around the NHL to Boston. And the Bruins, who are like quietly really consistent, but they haven't really been like a cup contender. They're in the playoffs. They get 100 points, but then they're not having much success in the postseason. Can that change? What do they need to do to make it change? So, because you think about it, you know what? They lost in the first round last year. Then they didn't make the playoffs. Then they beat the Leafs, which, of course, no offense. But then they've lost in the they haven't been to the they've been to the third round, I guess, in would that have been 2020? Yeah, in 2020, because they beat. No, they were in that seeding round, so that doesn't really count. And they beat Carolina, but then they lost in the second round of Tampa. So the last time they were in the conference final would have been 2019, the year they won the Stanley Cup. But they've only won one playoff round in the last 5 seasons, and which, you know what, they've been in the playoffs for those 5 years. So, that 25 season was kind of an anomaly because every other year they're basically 100 points, 107, record-breaking 135, 109, 100. Pretty good, but when I think of cup contenders, I don't put Boston in that category. So they're not in the murky middle of purgatory where they're not competitive enough to make the playoffs, but they're kind of like at the bottom end of teams that are going to make the playoffs, but not necessarily be competitive. So we'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's, what are your thoughts on NHL teams deciding to simulcast TV onto radio? What are your thoughts? It is beyond cheap to me for teams to do it. Now, there's 5 teams currently in the NHL that this coming season, Columbus became the 5th. We got Dallas, we got Carolina, Buffalo of all places, which I don't really understand, right? Because they're like a traditional long-time hockey market. Ask anybody when you do a TV broadcast, and I've done games on TV, I've done games on radio, I've done both. When you're on TV and you're the play-by-play guy, you don't have to fill in as much color because people can see what's going on, right? Whereas on radio, you got to give a lot more detail. And the truth of the matter is, lots of blind people just listen to the games. Well, now, and it's hard to listen to a game that's done on TV, like it's on radio, but it's done for TV. Right? You're like, where's the puck? I don't know. How did it get there? You don't call out the names. You don't say the score very often because it's right nowadays. It's up in the top corner. Whereas in radio, you should be given the score every 90 seconds to 2 minutes. That was kind of like the guideline to do it. So I think it's beyond cheap for teams to do it. And what I don't understand, it's an opportunity for them to basically promote their team. Right? That's what it is. And if your sales staff can't, at minimum, break even on it, then you're not doing it right. So there's no, I can't think of any reason other than cheap. So when like they call it, they're $1 billion industry, $1 billion business, and you can't afford a radio crew. Seriously, like give me a break. Like I'm sorry, you could like if worst case scenario, you're like, you know what, we're only going to do a play-by-play guy, and in certain road cities, we'll hire someone so we don't have to pay for their travel. Whatever, you can do that. Teams have done that in the past, but you still have a radio crew. Simple, you could do it. And I think it's really disrespectful to your diehard fans. It's incredibly disrespectful for blind people. They can't watch the games on TV. Now they're on radio, and you're not going to give them. How are they supposed to figure out where the puck is? Because if you ever watch a game on TV and close your eyes and see if you know where the puck is, just try it. Right? Because and that's I'm not ripping on the play-by-play guy. He doesn't need to give unnecessary information when you're on television. On radio, you have to give a lot of information. It's two different calls. You can tell in an instant if you're ever listening on a radio and you know that they're calling it for TV. I just think it's awful. And I would hope it is not, and like anything, you're up to 5 teams now. I always I get leery. Like I know some teams are getting cheap and asking their radio guys to call the games on radio from a home TV broadcast. Well, that's just as terrible. Like, give me a break. Like, you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you can spend that much money, but you can't afford to travel your guys. Give me a break. I just think it's cheap. So
I think the NHL needs to step in here, Gregor.
Yes,
implement
thank you,
this.
Collins. I think it should be a league-wide mandatory rule. Do you have to have a television and a radio broadcast crew separate? I think I would love that idea.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like the radio guys are different. They'll say Oilers going left to right in their road white uniform. Like they paint that picture, right? When you're driving your car listening, there's different levels to it. How the script you go in about the game. When you're watching on TV, you can see it all. You don't need to. So I think, yeah, that's just bogus to me. It's so cheap. And the NHL, I think, needs to come in and say, no, you need a radio team. This is the NHL. We're not the WHL. We're not junior. Pay the guys. You're billionaires.
Yeah. Hey guys, radio is often a little better because you usually get an unvarnished opinion from the color commentary guys that you don't get on TV from Jerry. Well, that's very possible too. So adding in, again, more color. You have to paint the like when you think about, and I know the younger generation, you're lucky because all the games are on TV. Every game's on TV now. You just kind of take it for granted. Every game's on TV. But there was a reason why Rod Phillips was so beloved for many years. Because when Rod started, there was maybe 10 games a year on TV, maybe 12. And then it slowly grew, but not a lot. And from there, you gain traction. And how many of you listened to Rod Phillips and fell in love with it? Because he was really your voice line to the team, your connection to the team. And he was fiery and he was passionate. Man, he got on the refs sometimes, but he'd get on the players sometimes, and people loved it, right? Like a radio guy is a lot about its entertainment sometimes. You do want to make it sound better than it might have looked. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole point of on radio, right? It's visualization. You're painting the pitch. Oh, remember when Rod would call a fight sometimes, and then if you ever got to see the highlight, oh, geez, it wasn't that much of a domination, but he sure made it sound like, one guy was just getting throttled. And in that moment, you're like, this is great. This is great. So I think it's a mistake. And I know, having spoke to the Oilers organization, it's not even in their conversation to think of it, to not do it, because it would be beyond foolish. In a Canadian market, it would be terrible. So I love Connor's idea of of making it league-wide mandatory, I would be all over that. All over it to do it. Because it would make great sense. And it adds a professionalism to your league. Like, how can you claim to be a professional league, want to brag about being a $1 billion league, but you know what? 5 of our teams can't afford a radio broadcast. Seriously? Hey, Gregor, not sure if you know, but tomorrow, Jordan Martinook is bringing the cup to Edmonton. Oh, I know, man. That's going to be a big day for L.A. If you know, you know. And, have a fun day with it. I saw Taylor Hall obviously had the cup last week and, had a great time with it. I love the fact that he had a little kind of miniature cup for his son. But you know what? Martinook and his family's got a lot of friends. He's always stayed comes home in the summertime. And, that'll be a fun day for all those, lots of kids in Leduc minor hockey. Be a thrill to get to see the cup up close and personal. And I know that he's going to have some private celebration. But he's going to have a big community celebration as well. So hopefully the community enjoys it tomorrow, as you should. Should be it'll be a fun day, man. Be awesome. Greg's, I can tell you the odd game that was on TV. I used to turn the TV sound down and listen to Rod anyway. It was unreal. Oh, I could just remember, and I got I grew up listening to Rod Phillips too, man. I thought he was awesome, and then I got the chance to meet him, and RP was an absolute beauty of a guy, man. Like he was so. Karius and I probably could share some stories because obviously Kevin worked with him when he was the color guy for many years, but had quite a few beers, and Rod's a great storyteller over time. And man, he was fiery and passionate when I got in. He was still doing the games, and he could get fired right up. He was a great guy. So I think there's room for both a TV broadcast and a radio broadcast, and I think it's amateur hour for the organizations that don't do it. Right? You can do lots of other good things, but that's one thing that I just think is a major fail by those 5 teams in the NHL. And I would hope it only stays at 5 because there'd be no reason to want. And you should see the feedback, and because Columbus was the 5th team to do it, and Bob McGelliott's been doing it for a long time. And Columbus, this is a team that hasn't had a ton of success, right? To put it mildly, in the playoffs, right? Like they've never had much success, to be honest. Like the greatest part of their franchise was beating the Tampa Bay Lightning that year, right? That's it in 2019. That's their Stanley Cup, really. They've never been close. That's probably the biggest moment in franchise history. Because you think about it, they've only qualified for the playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And they haven't made it in the last 6 seasons. You should have seen, I was reading Aaron Portzline, and I actually just tuned in to listen. Like, they are getting ripped. And Aaron's like, I can't believe it. The fans here have been ultra patient about a lot of things. This seemed to be the one that finally put him over the edge. You're like, are you kidding me? Now we can't even have a radio broadcast? And I was like, good. It shows, because honestly, you've had 6 playoff appearances as an organization. And you entered the league in 2001. You've been in the playoffs 6 times, and you've won like a real playoff round once against Tampa. They did beat Toronto in the qualifying round, which then got them to the first round in 2020, back when they had 24 teams in the playoffs. So really, in the rounds of 16, they've gotten to the 8 when there's 8 teams left once since 2001. Once. And now little things like this, it just erodes your passion as a fan. Right? That's what you do. It just erodes your passion as a fan. Quick break. We'll come back. We got Stats Day. We might, hopefully we'll catch up with Aaron Grimes and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
and with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
We were at a party. I was having fun. He wasn't. He grabbed my arm, then yanked me towards
the front door. Was under his watch 24/7. He installed a doorbell camera to control me, to keep me at home. It hurt.
more than you can imagine.
Tech abuse is real abuse. If you or someone you know is using technology to harm or control, change is possible. Learn how to end the violence at alberta.ca/endgbv. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at CanTorque.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
.244. Always like it when we learn new things on the show. Welcome back, Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. So Spencer Arrighetti, who was acquired for Dalton Varsho, has Morton's neuroma, a condition where skin builds up near a nerve in the foot and creates discomfort. There's no timeline yet for his return. They're hoping that treatment will help it. Morton's neuroma, August 10th, 2026. That is the first time that I have heard of Morton's neuroma. Skin builds up near a nerve in the foot and creates discomfort. Interesting. So there you go. So you won't see him for at least a little bit of time. I don't know how long he'll be out. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And we're going to call it on Audible. Aaron Grimes is going to join us at 4 o'clock. And we're going to get to our roundtable right now with Declan and Connor, brought to you by Go Auto. If you're looking for vehicles, goauto.ca is a great place to start. 17,000 options. New, used, cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, you name it. They got it. Search today at goauto.ca. Connor Halley, you are up.
All right. I don't know if you guys saw this today. It was just kind of coming down. It was something that didn't come up in the NFL coaches meetings, but just recently, and it's going to be allowed. NFL head coaches will now be able to designate a member of the sideline staff to initiate replay challenges. I don't like this. I mean, like at first, you kind of think of the Major League Baseball where the players can do the challenge right on the field. I like that when they're doing it, but I don't see why a head coach would do this or put that on someone else. It seems like to me, you're still going to need the go ahead from a coach to make this challenge. To me, it kind of just seems like a lateral move. Like, why do we have to do this? It's like when they move the uprights back on the extra point. What is that really our biggest concern, that coaches have too much going on and they don't throw the challenge? Like, I feel like this is just going to create more frustration for these head coaches when they get out there and they don't get a challenge right. Oh, why'd you do that? Why didn't you approve it? Like, it just seems like a weird move for me. I don't know about you guys thinking, but it's just kind of like, do we really need to do this? It's not that hard for Bill Belichick in his time to bend over and throw a flag.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. Like, 'cause I think maybe at the crux of what you're saying, it's almost just such a nothing burger league wide.
Like,
Yeah.
Are you going to do it? Are you going to go rogue without talking to your coach? Like, what's the point of doing that?
That's the thing. Anything is probably going to be approved by the head coach anyway. There's probably going to be a situation we're going to see where it gets called when a head coach wouldn't have liked it to be called, and it doesn't work out, and he gets a mouthful. There's probably going to be a situation where it's the right decision, and coach praises him. But all in all, it's like I couldn't agree more with what you're saying. Even though I wouldn't have brought this up because I'm kind of in your camp where it's like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
But overall, such a just nothing burger for the league. Let's get some grass in there, and we're doing this instead. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just seems like there's bigger things at play. This didn't even come up at the coaching meeting. It just kind of trickled in. I don't know. I just feel like, do we really need to assign someone to do this? The NFL is going to pay people to throw flags. The NHL is taking away broadcasters.
So remember, wasn't it the Rams who hired someone who basically to keep Sean McAvey off the field? That was his job. He'd run down the sidelines, and because he was getting on the field too much, because that'd be a penalty.
Yeah. He was pulling him back.
That was his job, which might be the most arrogant, self-serving job that if you're Sean McAvey. I need someone to watch out for me because I'm just so much more intense than every other human being on the planet. I can't keep myself contained. Like, give me a break. So now it's like, well, you know what, man? To pull that flag out of my pocket and to throw it on the ground, no. And you know what? Sometimes if the ref's down at the 40-yard line and I'm standing in midfield, I don't want to walk. I don't want to walk the 10 yards to get it. So we're going to get Bobby, and Bobby's going to come in, and he's going to be our flag thrower. This is, like you said, Cons, I'll be stunned because the minute you throw the flag and it doesn't work, are they going to blame the flag thrower or the coach? Like, does somebody get fired the first time a wrong one is made? Like, does this guy get to make his own choice? Or is he basically just a puppet who's like, got his earpiece on? Yeah, go. You want me to throw it? Okay, throw it. Shh, throw it. Like, there you go.
Yeah, when they do
That is
challenge the
comical.
bad one, it's going to be like post game. Yeah, we'll handle that internally. Like, it's going to be a coach just saying it wasn't my call. The get back coach was Ted Rath. He's also the sports science coach as well, or was.
Yeah,
a weird gig, but yeah, it's like the NFL is just creating these jobs.
Yeah, that's not good. So that's where we have too much money. How can we spend some of it? Problem. Which, hey, I wish I had that problem. That would be an awesome problem to have.
Yeah, that being said, if any of the NFL teams want to hire me for that role, let me know.
Take that gig.
You guys know me, watch a lot of CFL. I don't think this is...
Just wait, you know what they're going to do, though? They're going to take an existing staff member, give him more responsibility, but not more money. Watching, that's what's going to happen.
Could be me. I watch a lot of CFL. You guys know. I don't actually think this is going to happen just because I think it's honestly too tough to do. It's never been done. For the first time this season, I think 0-18 is on the table for the Red Blacks. Like, they're depleting their roster. I don't know if you guys saw Demario Houston released today. They have no real redeemable factors offensively. You look at what their defense is doing. Of all the other teams who have played 8 games, I should say, Ottawa's given up 289. The next most for a team with 8 games played is 249. Calgary, who's played 9 games and seems to have a historically bad defense in terms of points against, is giving up 297. So only 8 more in an entire additional game played. They only have 186 points on the season. I don't know if it'll actually happen just because I think that is such an incredible benchmark. But for the first time this season, I think it's actually on the table that they could go 0-18.
So Saskatchewan went 1-15 in 1959.
Yeah,
my
well,
research is right.
The 03 Tiger Cats, they went
1-17.
1-17, and then the 49 Ottawa Senators, I believe, also went 1-17. So it's like one win has happened, 0 wins has never happened, according to my research. But like if I ever felt it was on the table of any time in recent vintage, it's right now with this Red Blacks team.
Yeah, because we talked to JC Abbott about that. And, is this just growing pains for the Red Blacks, or is this, a mess? And he went to the side of a mess. Like, this isn't just typical growing pains for a new head coach with this team. There's a lot of issues. You fired defensive coordinator. Now you're, releasing players left, right, and center. Maybe they turn things around. Are they going to beat Winnipeg? I doubt it in Winnipeg. They're probably not beating Montreal. Then you got BC, who seems to be kind of upstart. Like, could they beat Hamilton? Maybe
that'd be the one.
Like
that would be the one. But like even that, you're grasping at straws to try and give them a win. Like, is anyone favoring Ottawa in that game? Like, no chance.
Well, I'll push back here. So Ottawa has lost twice to Saskatchewan. They've lost twice to Montreal, and they've lost twice to Edmonton. So the three, and we all agree those are the three best teams in the league.
Yeah.
So they're 0-6 against the three best. That's very different. Like if they were 0-8 and they hadn't played, and they'd lost to Toronto twice and Hamilton twice, I would say, yeah. But I look at their schedule. They've got Winnipeg, then they got Montreal one more time because they got to play them 3 times. BC, that'll be a tough game. Toronto, Calgary, Hamilton, BC, Toronto again, then Hamilton again. I bet you Ottawa has at least 2 wins by the time the season's over. Now, some of their guys, they're getting rid of some of their guys, but they're also getting rid of some guys that are just Gino Lewis's reputation is that he likes to be somewhat of the locker room lawyer. And it creates some uncomfortability at times. So I like the idea just because it's something we've never seen. And we have seen the NFL recently, so it's definitely doable. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Ottawa will end up winning 2 games. They'll get some new guys in. They'll get a break here or there. Defensively, they are brutal. And Jake Meyer's already thrown 10 picks, but they can score enough. So I think we're not at halfway point yet of the season, and they actually have played. Like, you could argue that Ottawa's maybe had the toughest schedule because 75% of their games have come against the 3 best teams in the league.
Yeah, it's a great counterpoint to that. Like, their schedule has been brutal. The only thing, and I can't push back on the schedule at all. Like, it's there, it exists. But optically, they look so out of it in the second half of games. Like, they have a collapse that I don't really see teams have that often.
Well, I mean, like that Elks game, Edmonton put up 24 in the 4th, right? Like, that game was close, got out of hand. So, yeah, I think they'll beat the Ticats, but I do think they're quite bad.
You guys are probably right. Like, I'm sure they'll get a couple wins there, but it's just, if there was ever a team in recent vintage, this is my team.
It would be, it's seen things we've never seen before. That's good for sports. And some of the things aren't always great things. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. So we'll see where it goes. Did you see that the Flag Football World Championship, Canada, gets granted a win as Nigeria withdraws? So not the best way, but hey, win's a win. You'll take it. No pictures on the score sheet. But I'd like to know. I'd have to read into why they withdrew.
I can tell you.
Okay.
Inability to secure travel visas.
Oh, geez.
Unfortunate. Canada now will play Austria on Thursday.
Now, where is this going on?
Good question.
Not Nigeria.
No.
It doesn't seem to be in the article where they're playing. I could look it up, though. I'll grab it.
I'd be curious because, like, I could see why it's a state, sadly. But, and I'm always kind of like, well, in advance you're doing this. Like, what's the problem here? I'm always concerned about it. So speaking of that, I do have to renew my passport. I have a question. Is it best to go in person or just do it online? I've got 4 months, but I don't like to wait till the last minute just because. So let me know in your experience. Online, easy, good, or still best to go the old school way, line up in person. And I don't have a problem. I could get there right when the doors open. I can be an early bird. But let me know which one you prefer when you did it with the new one. 833-401-1440. It's in Germany. So they can't even get a passport to Germany right now. Interesting. Let's take a quick break. Rick Walters is going to join us in the next hour. Also, I got some stats of the day coming up a little bit later on. Something that, hey, speaking of something that we've seen it before, but will we ever see it again? We'll have that discussion in our stats of the day. But first, let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165.
The Sports 1440 update.
Blue Jays in action tonight, taking on the Red Sox just after 5 o'clock. We'll have that one for you here on Sports 1440 following the Gregor Show at 600 AM feed. Elsewhere, Braves, Mets, Orioles in Minnesota. The Cards get the Phillies, Rockies, Diamondbacks, Rays, Athletics, Padres host the Brewers. Giants host the Astros with the Royals heading to LA to take on the Dodgers. Two-time All-Star Tim Anderson announced his retirement from the majors after 10 years with the White Sox, Marlins, and Angels we played with last season. In the NFL, Patriots tight end Hunter Henry signing a 2-year extension with the club with a base value of $16 million. Bears wide receiver Luther Burden III expected to miss the preseason after suffering a groin injury in practice, while Washington Commanders star left tackle Laramie Tunsil, he's going to undergo surgery to repair torn tricep. He is expected to miss significant time, but the team does hope he will return this season. And WNBA tonight, Toronto Tempo taking on the Dream at 6 o'clock. 8 o'clock, you got the Sky and Storm from Seattle. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former member of the Green and Gold, Grey Cup champion Rick Walters. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Oodle Noodle Origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
For all your welding supplies, think AWS Welding. Located in Nisku, their readily stocked storefront carries a wide variety of welding glasses, cylinder rentals, plus welding rod, wire, and consumables. Same-day delivery is always available. And if they don't have it, AWS Welding will find it for you fast. Visit their online store today at awswelding.ca or give them a call or text at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. They make it happen.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Harley-Davidson of Edmonton is turning up the heat for their annual garage sale and swap meet. Catch the Twin West Crew Stunt Team live for 2 massive shows packed with smoke and fire. Plus, score huge deals on parts, gear, and clothing. Check out artisan vendors, local riding groups, and grab a bite at the food trucks. August 15th, 10 to 3 at Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail. Locally owned and operated since 1980. Find more at hdedmonton.com.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, the Fruit Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Just West Brab and 118th.
At GS Construction, we won't quit until we find a way to get the job done. And the right person makes all the difference. We're looking for our next superintendent, an experienced leader ready to take on the role. Because while GS Construction is building the water, sewage, and drainage systems Edmonton communities rely on, the superintendent is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
At Windsor Plywood, we're much more than plywood. We have everyday building supplies, quality wood finishings, and hard-to-find materials. But what do our customers love most? Our people.
You'll love the local expert advice and custom cutting from the team at Windsor Plywood Leduc, helping Leduc builders evaluate their projects from start to finish.
Windsor Plywood. Doors, floors, moldings, and more. Much more.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Need equipment on the job fast? Japa Equipment Rentals in Atchison has you covered. Excavators, wheel loaders, compaction equipment, and more, backed by expert service. Visit japamachinery.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
It's after 3 o'clock. How you doing? Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's one-stop shop for you, for casino, sports, live dealer, lottery, instance, all in one place. One place that offers that is PlayAlberta.ca. Welcome back. I'm Jason Gregor, alongside Connor Halley, Declan Kruger. Remind you that coming up in just under 3 weeks, actually, it'll be on the 28th of August. It's Friday. It's a Friday morning, down at the ranch, and we have 6 foursomes left in the tournament. All the proceeds will go towards the Gregor Foundation. So thank you very much. And I can tell you, it's a super fun tournament. Lots of laughs, lots of diehard sports fans. So if you're looking for a tournament with your buddies to get into and you want to help support a great cause, have some fun. It's a Friday morning. I can tell you, it kicks off your weekend great. Just send me a text and I can send you the link. So we're looking to fill out those final 6 spots. So let me know at 833-401-1440. As now we're going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your group to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentride.ca. As we are joined, we'd like to do our CFL recap, really football overall in general. Recap with, of course, Grey Cup champion, former OC, is coach in the CFL, is coach in the youth sports for many years. Rick Walters joins us. Rick, welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
Hey, Jason. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me again.
Hey, no problem, buddy. So we'll go through the game and then we'll kind of get into, actually, let's maybe start with bigger picture. So when you coach and you were part of coaching staffs in football, because I know in hockey, sometimes coaches will break down the season into smaller increments rather than just the whole year and be like, okay, you know what, at the 6 game mark, maybe, or the 9 game mark or whatever, and they would do it. What were you part of? Was it ever broken down into like 3 game segments, 6 game segments, 9 game, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. CFL wise, usually break it down into thirds. Obviously you go 6, then 18, or 6, 12, then 18, and you're kind of looking at just what you're doing, trying to see what kind of evaluating with reports. There's lots of detailed stuff that comes out. You're looking at anything that you're doing well, what you're not doing well, trying to see how opponents are playing you versus offensively versus certain formations. Coverage wise, is coverage dictating or stemming towards certain people? So, yeah, like I said, usually try and break it down into thirds and see how you're going. With analytics, people have really become number focused in terms of what that looks like, but it does give you a healthy subset of data to be able to look at for sure.
So if I looked at the Elks at the halfway point of the season, considering where the organization has been the last few years, 6-3, pretty damn good. You're 2-2 against the top two teams, and against everybody else, you're 4-1. So I think overall you're happy. Now, the way the final game went in Montreal, it was probably the first game all year, Rick, that I felt like Montreal was clearly the more physical team in all three facets of the game. Like, we saw more missed tackles on special teams and defense than we had in a long time for the green and gold. What do you attribute that to?
That's a good point. Physicality is a good way of looking at it. I know they'll go back and they'll look at technique and see from a defensive standpoint where you're at. What are the angles you're trying to make tackles at? Are you trying to get shoulder arm tackles, or are you bringing your feet with you? Are you squared up to what the receiver, the running back, how they're coming at you? Is the scheme the issue? Was the scheme a challenging portion of what forced some of the missed tackles, or was the players just making plays in terms of that? So you're going to look at everything. And then to your point earlier, you are losing games to two of the best teams in the CFL right now. I think the bigger challenge is just how it came about. I think is what would cause a little bit of concern.
Okay. So when you would sit down, I put your coaching hat on. Let's start with the offense. Justin Rankin carried the ball 7 times. He had 62 rushing yards. He carried the ball 7 times, Rick. He's been the most dangerous player. How's he only he didn't catch one pass? He had 7 carries in the game. Like, I don't understand it.
I would agree. I would say this game came down to a tale of kind of two halves to me. The first half felt very much like a playoff game. You could hear the horns blowing and you could feel the intensity coming through the TV set. I thought offensively, they did a great job of throwing the ball versus Montreal's pressure looks. And by pressure looks, I mean this. Montreal does a really good job of bringing exotic types of blitzes. Noel Thorpe does a great job where they'll line 6 or 7 guys up on the line of scrimmage, and then they'll start popping guys and dropping guys out, or sometimes they'll line the 7 up and bring in all of them. They have D linemen who kind of run and look like linebackers, and they have DBs who kind of look a little bit and play a little bit sometimes like linebackers. And so it's a very amoeba-ish type defense, and they do a great job of being able to pop out and get into certain things. So if you can imagine 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, but then you're popping out D linemen or nose tackles or rush ends into where traditionally it's DBs who are popping out, and so you have a lineman, your 5-0 lineman in your back there waiting for the traditional rushers, but they're not coming. They're either standing at the line of scrimmage or they're popping out and they're letting other guys come. And so they're doing a great job of that. And I thought in the first half, the Elks did a really good job throwing against their pressure. So they threw a lot of slants, because as you're popping out, there's a void that you're kind of getting into that the guys that are popping from the line of scrimmage can't really see where you're going, because lots of times they're trying to get out under out routes or things breaking out. But the Elks did a good job of throwing slants, and they hit a number of slants in the first half. And so that was massive. And then I think defensively, they did a really good job of making Alexander hold on to the ball. So Davis you could see he was looking for his first read, which wasn't. So they were taking the first read away. And then they're making a move on to second, third, and even the check downs. And you could see he was holding the ball a lot. Then he started to scramble a little bit, and it kind of and that's how Ford kind of got a couple of his interceptions. And so I thought the first half was really, really well played until football's a game of momentum. And sometimes certain things happen with momentum. I guess sports are games of momentum. I shouldn't say just football, but certain things happen to change the momentum. When you look back at it, I'm not Coach Killam, and it's really easy to be armchair quarterbacks and Monday morning quarterbacks or whatever. But that really was a pivotal play, I think, in the game in terms of changing what the momentum looked like by not going for it on 3rd and 1. And I think the issue is kind of twofold. One is that you just went for it on 3rd and 5.
Yes.
And you'd went for it like a couple minutes earlier. So I get it. And the commentators did a great job of saying, well, maybe he's thinking that get the points now and then get the ball at the start of the second half. The problem with that is this, when you're in a heavyweight fight, initially I was like, yeah, go, like, this is what you got to do. You're in the playoffs, you're fighting. It feels like a playoff fight game. You want to leave it all out on there, all out on the line. And so you could tell that Montreal's offense was starting to get rolling, and you're unsure if you're going to be able to keep up. And a 3rd and 1 is usually automatic. I don't know what the exact stats are for the year, but I'm sure that people have converted probably 90+% of what that looks like. And at worst, even if you miss it, they still have a long field to have to drive on. So I would think the analytics and everything probably said you should have went for it. And then if you go for it and you get it, then you take more time down. Maybe you end up kicking a field goal, but at worst you move the game clock down. And so even if Montreal does get it, they get it back with less time. Again, it's easy to sit here and look at that, but it felt to me was a massive, massive momentum shift, even though he hit the field goal. But Montreal 2 plays later, they answered back with another field goal. So instead of going down 4 or possibly tied at the half, you're back down 7. And I think it was a big shift in what the game looked like.
100% agree. Like I was very surprised considering, like, I love the call on 3rd and 5 to go for it. That was huge. And it turned out to a touchdown and it worked. So I'm thinking, hey man, and you've coached and you've been a player. And I know that players in situations, a lot of times they want to go for it. I understand it. But there are certain situations where the odds are much more in your favor. Like they were rolling, they're moving the ball down the field. And you see Cody Fajardo, like you could tell his reaction. And he's obviously one of the leaders of the offense. I just emotionally, I think it drains you. Now you've played, Rick. So can you maybe speak to that emotional draining, even though it shouldn't? But like you're human beings, and now you sit on that in halftime, and it seemed like they just never recovered. It was like they were flat as a team after that.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think you're right. You saw the emotion that Cody was exuding, and again, it goes back to you understand if it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, something like that. But with individuals having to be a yard off the ball, and you think, to your point, that you're rolling, you're kind of got things going in the first half, that you should be able to pick up the yard. And like I said, possibly go in and score a touchdown. If not go in and score a touchdown, then there's 30 seconds left and you just keep bleeding the time. And it's either a late field goal at the end of the half. So you go in to halftime down 4 at worst. And so a lot of empathy towards what that looks like. It's sometimes coaching goes down to a feel thing, and you feel things, but you could tell that the players were visibly kind of frustrated at that point and thinking that they had kind of things going. I think what happened though, and you're right, sitting on it sometimes kind of comes out. What happened at halftime, now that's a whole different story, because halftime they had adjustments. Montreal made adjustments at halftime. You could tell that.
Yeah.
And you could see that Montreal started finding offensively. They started finding Phil Pellet more on screens and double moves and things like that. And that was a steady diet in the second half. And you could tell the Elks offense kind of we're still kind of thinking we can run slants and see slants and things like that. But Montreal made adjustments to that. And so their DB started moving more inside and sitting on routes more. And so if they're sitting on routes, then you got to game plan wise, you got to think I got to get double moves. I got to get slant and goes. I got to get out and out. So you got to think, you got to get something that's a little bit different. I got to bomber in. By bomber in, I mean, I got to bring another person in to help protect. So I got a little bit more time that I can throw over top. Because usually if a slot's out wide and then they come in late, that's a great thing about the Canadian game with motion. You can always bring somebody in late. Then if they're going to add, by add, I mean bring another defender to blitz. They're usually trying to add from depth. And so there's a whole bunch of ways that, not a whole bunch, but there's a few ways that you can actually beat blitz coverage in terms of what that looks like. And I don't think that the Elks adjusted as well as Montreal did. And as the game started rolling, to your point, Rankin had a big first half, but he didn't have a big second half. There was a noticeable lack of Rankin touches in the second half.
It was like it was non-existent. And I'm like, maybe he's injured. That was the only thing I could think of, is like, maybe this guy's banged up more than we know. And so, but because, Javon Leake was in there quite a bit, and I like Javon Leake, but he's not nearly as dangerous as a runner as Rankin is. I don't think it's very close, to be honest, in my opinion anyway. So I just, at times, and you were a play caller, Rick, so I'm sure you understand play calling. At times I still feel they're a little too passive as an offense. What about you? Like, I feel they feel like we're just going to march down the field in long drives. They're not, Cody said it. I don't think I'm a big strike offense. Okay, but then, like, I haven't yet to see like a trick play or anything, and we're halfway through the season. Like, at some point, if you know you're going to just be that, don't you have to at least try to keep the defense on their toes?
Well, offense is, to your point, Jason, offense is a game about creativity. When you're just bigger and better than people, then for sure you can just kind of continue to run the same play, but you don't necessarily find that too often in professional football. You find a lot of similar people, and that's why for a lot of times when you look at football, it is a very coach dominant kind of sport, because you can create that creativity offensively or defensively. I think in order to get Rankin going, you got to be creative in what you're doing in terms of what your play calls now ask for them. You have to be able to split them out wide and run wide receiver screens to the tailback. You have to be able to get shovel passes to them. They've done a good job of running tosses and things like that. But you have to find every way in your playbook to get your best player the ball. And to leave a game, I would agree, to leave a game with 7 touches is something I would look at and say that's going to be tough to win games when that happens. At minimum, it should be 7 touches, 7 to 10 touches a half, really.
Yes.
And I know I would think that they're doing this too. It's just counting how many times that Rankin is touching the ball, how many times all their players are touching the ball. And then if you notice that, your best player is not getting enough, then you force feed them the ball. You just find different ways to get them the ball. There's an old adage, it's players over plays. And I think you got to live and die with that. It's always players over plays. Sometimes people are a little too think that the scheme is what wins games, but it's always players. If you have better players, then you win games.
I like that. Rick Walters joins us. Take a quick break. We'll come back. We've talked a lot about the offense. We're going to talk about the defense and more when we return here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price? Give me your credit card for a test drive? What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Kickoff is coming August 15th. Elks, Argos, at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Family Day presented by Goodwill Industries of Alberta. Youth 17 and under get in free for an early afternoon contest. Conditions apply. Tickets and info at goelks.com/tickets.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, "Wow, great hair transplant." I want them to think, "Wow, great hair." Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Monday afternoon continues on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you. As always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, Lotto Max tomorrow, $30 million. Get your tickets and 30 prizes of $100K at PlayAlberta.ca. We continue with our weekend recap. Lots of football talk. Rick Walters, of course, stays with us once again, former player, longtime coach. And Rick, we talked a lot about the offense. So now we'll kind of switch over to the defensive side of the ball. And I know going in, their strategy, we had J.J. Ross on. It was like, hey, you know what? We got to find a ways to disrupt them. They didn't want Philpott to beat him. He ends up with 3 touchdowns in the game. And like both of their top receivers, like it's hard to shut them down, the offense, the way it's functioning. And really I guess let's start with the line of scrimmage. Do you think the D-line got enough pressure, or is it just sometimes you got to tip your hat because Alexander is very good at avoiding the pressure and still making throws?
Alexander's very good. I think he's probably he's probably the top quarterback this year in terms of the league. And I think not only him, Tice is doing a really, really good job. They found I think they found a really, really strong running back in a running game. I think where the game kind of got won and lost here is their offensive line, in all honesty. The reason why Alexander is so good is that their O-line is tremendous. They have a tremendous O-line, and you can tell that I think Jason is probably one of the best head coaches, especially offensive minds, in the CFL. And I think Anthony Cavillo is his pedigree kind of speaks for itself. He's done a great job being part of some really high explosive offenses. And he's done, I think one of the knocks when you look at Jason as a play caller, when he was doing it, was maybe sometimes he'd be a little bit too much. Like he'd have a whole bunch of laundry list of plays and kind of roll it out through those. I would say AC is a little bit different from Jason. AC is like, if it's working, he just sticks with it.
Yeah.
They probably ran like 6 or 7 wide receiver screens in the second half. And he just said, if we're going to get 9 yards a pop, I'm going to keep running with it. And so, and sometimes that's a really great way to call offensive games. And so I think in a little bit of ways that they just did a masterclass job in the second half, really throughout the game of showing offensive football. So were we outmanned from that? No, I think they just did I think that this was one of those times when you got to really take your hat off to what they do. And defensively, you have to physically change things up now. And you can feel it in the game sometimes where an offensive play caller or defensive play caller is just a step ahead of you all the time. Like you call something, but they've already called a play that's a little bit better of a play than what you called. And you could kind of feel that in the second half, that offensively they were just a little bit ahead of what we were calling defensively. And then you combine that with really, really good players. And it makes it tough to play.
Yeah. Okay. Like I know sometimes you got to tip your hat to the opposition. So if they kept running those receiver screens, how should the defense had changed and adapted to that?
Usually you get a little bit more aggressive in terms of that. Wide receiver screens are great for 2 reasons. One, if you can outnumber how many guys are blocking, or be at least stalemated with how many you have. So sometimes people play a little bit deeper coverage, and so either the halfback or corner are going a little bit higher. And so you can have, if you have 3 receivers and you have a half or corner going higher, you're probably only going to have 2 defenders. So you might have the Sam or the strong side linebacker and say the corner, say the halfback is bailing deep, and you have 3 guys over top. Well, then you have a numbers advantage. So, you have your 3 against really their 2 with somebody playing high. And so in order to defeat that, you got to even up the numbers game. So you got to start bringing guys down a little bit, or if they're going to bail into zone coverage, they got to bail late into zone coverage. And so you kind of see what they've done is, if they're going to run, and they run a ton of screens, but they also run. So this game, you can almost guarantee it. The next game that you see Montreal play, they're going to run a ton of screen and goes. I can almost bet my house on it. They're going to run at least 2 or 3, fake a wide receiver screen, and then guys will kind of stutter their feet beside the corner halfback and then take off on a go route.
Because the opposition's thinking that they're going to cheat up, and then you're going to beat them over the top.
100%. So what a defense does now is that they try to equate the numbers, and they start bringing people down. So instead of bailing your halfback high, you leave them down, and maybe you get into press man. You leave the corner down, you bring the Sam down, and then all of a sudden they stutter their feet at one of the guys and they take off. And yeah, that's kind of the cat and mouse game of what offensive football looks like, because probably 2 or 3 games ago, they did exactly that. Montreal did exactly that, where there was a game where they ran 3 or 4 stutter and goes. It might not hit on that side, but if all the linebackers are now flowing to the screen side, there's probably a big void coming across the middle. And they just play, again, they're playing checkers while some people are playing chess.
Yeah. Well, and that's the key is at times you want to have your game plan so you are aware to counter the aggressive nature of the defense. Is that fair?
100%.
Right? You want to find a way to counter it and exploit. And you talked about it because I focused on one, and I felt that Kobe Williams plays too deep often. Now, I've never been a DB, and so maybe I'm wrong on that. But when you a lot of times I see he's playing off of guys or he's not reacting quick enough, and then he's getting beat. Am I totally off base on this?
No, you're right. There's, like we talked a little bit in the last time you're on, and you kind of DBs playing where the speed zones are, and most in or out breaking routes. The first one is, there's, line of scrimmage and bubble screens and screens like that. But then the next one happens right around 5-6 yards. And either it's a short in, short out, something like that. And then the next one happens at 10 to 12 yards. There's lots of guys who play catch technique, and catch technique happens at one of the deeper kind of break points, and that's usually 10 to 12. But the guys who play that at that leverage point, yeah, you're going to make some plays when it happens at that, but they're going to be in trouble for when screens happen or quick outs, quick ins, because they're always trying to react to what that looks like. And then if you hit them on enough of those, then you hit them on an out and up or a slant and go, because now they're trying to come downhill because they're at depth, and then they slip. Their body leverage is coming forward. Meanwhile, you're going the other way. So I would agree that, at some point you got to see how people are attacking you. And that goes to your point earlier, being able to look at some of the stats and some of the analytics. Where are you thrown against? We used to do it all the time where we'd label it as find the pigeon. And the pigeon is the defensive back that's given up a lot of catches. Sometimes, those guys are leading in tackles, but it also means they're giving up a lot of catches. And so you track that, and you track where other teams are throwing, and when you come into your game plan, you're kind of finding the pigeon.
And so then, do you find, is the pigeon a game plan, or is that just how individual guys play? There's certain guys who just okay, we want you to drop back, but some guys will drop back 8 yards, whereas others will drop back, but they'll only be at 7 or 6. And that yard difference can be the difference between disrupting a catcher.
Yeah, a little bit of both. As you're tracking, are they getting receptions on them in man, or are they getting receptions on them in zone? Sometimes in zone, it's just a product of what the play is. But if you're getting hit up a lot in man, then you got other issues. When people are a little bit not as comfortable, they tend to get a little bit deeper in terms of even in cover one or man to man. So you're starting to see guys, and you can see it all the time, where guys that are uncomfortable with either their technique or their speed at the snap, all of a sudden, a lot of guys are like 5 to 6 yards. All of a sudden they're 8 to 9 yards.
Yes.
And they're hoping not to get beat deep, which when you get beat deep, you get put on, Sports Center and everything like that. If you give up hitch routes, everybody's like, well, nobody's going to show those. The problem is when you're playing against good teams, they'll take that all day.
Well, 100%. If you get beat over the top every now and then, you'll live with that if you're stopping them from moving up and down the field all game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, like we talked about, is that's the life of a DB. Sometimes, especially aggressive ones. And we played with some great ones that were aggressive, but they're going to get beat deep. And it's having a short memory and being able to, make the next 9 plays.
Rick Walters joins us. So, Rick, you look at it, what do you equate special teams and the amount of missed tackles they had in that game? Because there was a lot of guys, bouncing off a guy, you're getting an arm on him or stuff. Do you think with the heat and fatigue, it's 8 straight weeks they played, does that come into it at all, or is it just an off day of tactic for the special teamers?
No. Some of that is fatigue. Some of that is, just the wear and tear on your body. You do get a little bit tired for sure. But this is a game, again, this is like a hot apple pie game. This is kind of one of those games that your juices are going for. Like, this is not one of those games where afterward you want to say, well, we were tired, we're a little bit sluggish. You had to know, especially beating Montreal at home, that they were going to, want to get a little bit of revenge about this. And I think for, half of the game, they were kind of right there. It was a heavyweight fight, and it was whoever blinked first, or whoever flinched first was going to have issues. And I think really what happened, the Elks kind of flinched first, and they just couldn't catch back up. I wouldn't. I think they'll go back and look on the film and probably kind of see that. I don't think this is a game that we should even give them the pass and saying they've played 8 or 9 straight weeks. This is a game that juices should be flowing for, and people should be getting ready for.
Okay. Looking ahead now, you come off now. They've lost 2 in a row. And the Saskatchewan game was a very close game, right? Like, you win by 2, you lose by 2. It's going to happen sometimes in football. But Montreal, I think, is clearly one where in film room today and tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of guys. Yeah, that wasn't good enough. Yeah, that wasn't good enough. And so maybe that can help. So you move to Toronto, and I want to focus on the defensive side for Edmonton for a second. Chad Kelly, he's thrown a lot of touchdowns. He's thrown 13 picks. Like, he is, this guy is not afraid to throw the ball downfield. You look at Toronto's offense overall, they're very pass heavy. They don't have a Thies. They don't run the ball that much. How would you be game planning against Toronto this week?
Yeah, no, I think Chad Kelly does a good job throwing the ball to both teams. Everybody's got, it's that 50-50, a little bit of skim milk where some are going to his team, some are going to the other team. So it's a little 50-50 sometimes. Game plan wise, you want to take away the best thing they do, which is pass the ball. So you got to make sure your coverage is a little bit where you can change up things, giving different looks in terms of what that looks like, being able to create some pressure opportunities. I think he struggles a little bit with a little bit of pressure. He's going to try to throw ball in windows, and a little bit like what we talked about, he's going to have opportunities to make throws, and he's going to make some throws. But when you have an opportunity to make a pick, you have to be able to secure that and make the pick. As well, I don't think that their O-line is the strongest O-line in the league, so you're going to be able to get after the quarterback a little bit more. That's a game that we should, like, you might give up some yards in that game, maybe, but you got to win the turnover battle. Now that'll be the big part, is maybe give up some yards, but know that you're always going to get some more shots to make plays, especially down the field because he's going to keep throwing the ball.
That's they don't have a run game to really rely back on, right? Like Montreal, if by chance you were able to limit their passing game, then all of a sudden they got Thies, and he was running through guys quite a bit.
He's tough. He's tough. Somebody made the comparison with him about was it Ronick? Josh Ronick?
Yeah,
and he's just like a little fire plug, and Toronto doesn't have that. So again, you usually want to take away the best things that people do, and if you can limit their pass game, or if you encourage them to pass, just make sure that when you get a chance at picking off balls, they're going the other way.
We'll take our final break of this hour as we recap the weekend in the CFL with Rick Walters here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero-gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back. LeadingEdgePhysio.com, because life Shouldn't hurt.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos. For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering, a happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man.
No way. Watching from the sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the bro zone is where it's at.
But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Alberta, we're wild and tough and beautiful. We agree that good enough isn't good enough. And though everything that matters starts with a home and a family. At Lux, our family has been handcrafting windows and doors for this incredible place for over half a century. And there's no place we'd rather be. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Calling all pizza lovers at Papa John's, you can get a large one-topping pizza for only $14.99 using promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.343, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Cougar with you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, as Rick Walters stays on with us every Monday for an hour talking pigskin with Rick. And Rick, we talked a lot about the green and gold. I do want to ask you, when you played, and I know that you were somebody who would, thought about coaching, so you paid attention to it. Who are coaches on the maybe on the offensive side that even if you played against or played under, as far as an OC that you really liked their approach and why?
Oh, wow. Great question. You know what? I really liked Tressman when he was in Montreal, and even the work that he did in the NFL. I think I like people who, creativity wise, that they're able to do things from a creative standpoint. I love when people can go from I can watch an NFL game and say, okay, that's a super creative coordinator. He does some imaginative things. And I like it when it always kind of crazy to me when people don't think that there's creative minds in the CFL game. And then you listen to guys that have seen both the NFL and CFL game, and you realize how much of the CFL game is now south of the border, whether it's in NFL games or or in college games, and you just see concepts and ideas and things that have been in the Canadian game for decades and decades being filtered and spilt around in the NFL and in NC2A. So I think guys that are creative, guys that are multifaceted in terms of how they use things, I think those are always unique guys in terms of how they approach the game. You like I mentioned it to you earlier, players over plays. And so I like how guys try and figure out different ways to create matchups for their best players. And I think those are creative people who can find different ways to do that. So that's probably not like Trestman is the first name that comes to mind right away. And he did a great job, whether it was in the NFL or in the CFL.
Were you ever stuck in an offense where you had a coordinator who wasn't that creative? And what do you do as a player in that situation?
I think lots. Yeah. There's lots of guys where you can tell that there's not the same level of creativity. And sometimes it's comfort level from that particular coach and what your risk, what your risk level feels like, and stepping outside of your box and being, and it doesn't really matter what sport that is every sport that sometimes the coach just isn't comfortable in creating that environment or that culture where those things can happen. And so I think those are tough, and those are tough to watch and tough to see, and tough to see really, really dynamic players in offenses or defenses where you can see that they're just they're not taking full advantage of everything that the player may be able to do.
So, like, do veteran players, like, do quarterbacks, how much of it is a quarterback's, influence at times in OC, or does it vary from team to team?
Varies from team to team, but the good teams take into consideration what the quarterbacks can do and what they like. Because at the end of the day, players play games. Coaches just coach. You've seen more coaches kind of screw up a game than win games. So you come up with a game plan, a scouting report that's going to take advantage of things you see that's happening through tendencies. But at the end of the day, you got to bring that to your quarterbacks and to your team and see if they can handle that.
Right.
The thing you want to do when you're coordinating offense or defense is you present a plan and you show them what it's going to look like, and you see what their comfort level is. If Cody doesn't like a concept, it's pointless to think that you as a coordinator can sit in your basement and drop the greatest play. If the quarterback is uncomfortable with it, you gotta scrap it and throw it out, because by no chance are they going to be successful with that if they don't feel that they're comfortable with it.
Yeah, and that's always a challenge. So as an OC, sometimes you have to find a ways to, I understand you want to find out what the quarterback's comfortable with, but ultimately sometimes if the QB isn't comfortable with what you want to call, then eventually the QB is probably going to be gone.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of that chicken or egg thing, I guess, where you provide them with a laundry list of things that you think can attack it, and you see what their comfort level is. But if there's too many of those things that they're not comfortable with, then you find another guy.
So you look at around the league, and Alexander can make a lot of throws. He's a pretty dynamic quarterback. I think he's the best one. And again, you look at Harris and that Saskatchewan offense, they got a lot of injuries, and I know it was Ottawa, but still, they've beaten a lot of good teams, including Edmonton. What about Vernon Adams? He was off a great start, 21 consecutive touchdowns, no interceptions. Then he threw 2 this last weekend in that loss, and they barely completed any passes. Man, what have you made of the Calgary offense so far this season?
That's a good one. That's another good question. I think VA does a good job. I think Dickinson's good as a coordinator. I think he does a really, really good job. He's traditionally done a good job with different types of quarterbacks, from scrambling type quarterbacks to pocket passers. The thing that Vernon does well is that he scrambles for the purpose of throwing the ball. There's certain guys, like there's Trey's a little bit like this, where you scramble for the purpose of running the ball. I think Vernon moves in the pocket, scrambles, and he's still got his eyes upfield, and it creates, especially when he gets out of the pocket, lots of opportunities for throws down the field. So he's doing a really good job with on schedule plays, and obviously his off schedule, he's probably one of the best at it. Him and maybe Davis. Alexander is probably the two best quarterbacks at being able to make great off schedule plays with their feet, and then still being able to get chunk yards down the field. And obviously, like we talked about earlier, if you can turn over the ball defensively and not turn it over offensively, and VA's kind of done a really good job of that. He's protecting the ball, so even though he's scrambling, moving around a little bit, he's still not putting the ball in harm's way. So, they've done a good job. They're a scary team for sure, because when he's on, he's really on.
Yeah. Historically, though, when he's off, he's really off too. He hasn't been that yet this year, right? But that's kind of been his calling card a little bit. Or it was like Kevin Glenn. Kevin Glenn, he was always like, man, you know what? He was gonna throw 3 touchdowns a game, but he'd throw 2 interceptions. Just a matter of whether you caught him or not.
Absolutely. You weren't sure with VA what kind of quarterback he was going to turn into, especially when he left Montreal. I think the verdict was, the jury was kind of still out when he left Montreal and went to BC. But he did a great job in BC. He had a lot of weapons around him. Jordan Maksivich did a great job of calling some games. Did a great job, especially when Rourke left. They had a great receiving core, and he just kind of took off when given the opportunity there. And he's done a really good job in Calgary as well.
What about the amateur coaching ranks in Canada? We're seeing more football players come out, Rick, and you obviously went Simon Fraser, and he played in the league for a long time, and then you've been coaching at junior and youth sport level and higher. So when you look at the overall improvement of minor coaching in Canada, where's the biggest steps we've made, and where do you think we have to make more improvements on a coaching level at the amateur ranks?
I think Canada's done an outstanding job in changing the narrative of the Canadian athlete. I would probably say maybe 15, 20 years ago, I could see why individuals wanted to go south of the border to kind of hone their craft or to go to the NC2A, because the coaching wasn't quite where it was in minor football, whether that be high school, junior, college, universities. Over the last 20 years has been a 20-fold difference in terms of what the abilities have been. I think the coaches at the youth sport level is closely tied to the CFL type coaches now. So I don't think that there's a big difference between what coaches are doing at that level than what they're doing at a professional level. And you can kind of see with how many youth sports guys have gone into the CFL and being able to compete. In all honesty, the strength and conditioning has ramped up. The offensive execution, defensive execution has ramped up. The coaching has ramped up in terms of what that is. So I think it's like night and day if you want to compare the last 20 years. I think if you want to go down to the States now and you're still committed to go, it's just the pomp and circumstance of what that looks like for an athlete. But it wouldn't be the coaching and the S&C that you're going to get saying that it's better down there than it is in Canada. So again, now you see the athletes coming out. Do they still, is there still the level of competition that you will face every day? Maybe, probably not, obviously not. But I would say you're as prepared as you've ever been, in the history of youth sports for the athletes that are coming out.
Rick, great stuff, buddy. We will chat with you next Monday. We'll see if the Elks can get back on the winning track as they start the second half. They're through the toughest part of their season. They're 6-3, which is a vast improvement from where they've been for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So things are trending in the right direction. I appreciate your time, buddy. Have a good one.
All right, Jake. Thanks, man. We'll see you next week.
You betcha. That's Rick Walters, who joins us every Monday at 3 o'clock. If you're a football fan, man, you want to get a great breakdown from Rick's got a really good mind for the game. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property services you can feel good about, get Hire Good. Site cleanup, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. Check out hiregood.ca. Stable jobs create stable lives at Hire Good.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Toronto Blue Jays in action today, hosting the Red Sox just after 5 o'clock. We'll join that game in progress on our AM feed following the Gregor show just after 6. Elsewhere, Mets get the Braves, Twins host the Orioles, Rangers in Anaheim. Athletics host the Rays, Astros taking on the Giants, and the Dodgers host the Royals. Two-time All-Star Tim Anderson announced his retirement from the majors after 10 seasons with the White Sox, Marlins, and Angels we put it last season. From the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys signing defensive tackle Quinn Williams to a 3-year contract extension worth just over $105 million. The four-time Pro Bowler was acquired from the Jets last November, and the Patriots bringing back tight end Hunter Henry 2-year extension with a base value of $16 million. Chicago Bears wide receiver Luther Burden III is expected to miss the preseason after suffering a groin injury in practice, but the team believes he'll be ready for the home opener against the Panthers. The Washington Commanders will be without star left tackle Laramie Tunzel. He will undergo surgery to repair torn triceps. Is expected to miss significant time. And in the WNBA, you've got the Temple Owens Dream at 6, and at 8 o'clock, Storm hosting the Sky. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Edmonton Elks defensive backs coach Aaron Grimes. We'll look around the NFL with Bill Bender from the Sporting News and get to 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of CanTorque. CanTorque has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Do you know why people love working at GS Construction? It's honest work. It's work that needs to be done. And we're really good at what we do. That's why GS Construction has been in business for over 50 years. We won't be wearing a top hat and tails, more like hard hat and boots, because we're heading underground to keep the water flowing in and out of your homes and businesses in Edmonton. GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and top men. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips, we fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Well, Monday flying right by, man. That's a quick hour. If you like football, man, having Rick on every Monday for an hour is fantastic stuff. Got a lot of texts from people who are enjoying that. Another new segment we've added to the station. So tune in every Monday, except after long weekends. That'll be a Tuesday to chat all things football with Rick Walters. Now, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 is where you can text us. Again, just send me in your text if you're interested. You want to play in the in our golf tournament for to help support the Gregor Foundation. It goes Friday, August 28th. It is at Millwoods, 9 a.m. Not too early. You'll have lots of time, and you'll tee it up. It's loads of fun, and all the proceeds going towards the Gregor Foundation. So if you want to get a foursome in, you can. We got 7 of those. We also actually have 3 individual spots. If there's anybody who's looking to join a team, but you can't get in enforcement, just want to play with one. There's 3 spots of that available. Just send me a text and I can send you the link where you can sign up. So good luck. Now it's time to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. 53 years in business. They've grown and expanded to become one of the most diversified electrical contractors in the province. 4 divisions in project service, testing, and residential. Learn more at actionelectrical.net, as we are joined by former CFL player, Grey Cup champion, now in his second season as the secondary coach for the Edmonton Elks. Aaron Grimes joins us. Aaron, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Gregor. I can't complain, man. How you doing?
I am excellent. So give me a rundown of what the coaches do. You know, you fly home after Saturday's game, you get in late. Is Sunday day off? Are you guys in there breaking down film? Kind of take us through. And when you're breaking it down, what specifically are you looking for as a DB coach in that first day of breaking down the film?
Yeah. So how long do we have here?
Oh, we got a lot of time.
Yeah. So we get on the flight pretty much right after the game. I start flying home, and most of us will grade that game on the film on the flight. So grading it, going through it, putting our comments in for the guys to be able to see if they want to watch it on their own. Doing our reports, you got to put a little report together. Player after the game as well, and then we get home, anywhere from midnight to even later, and then we're right back at it. So you go home, you take a little nap, and then you get right back in the office and touch up a few things from last night's game if you haven't finished it, and then it's typically right on to watching the next opponent, watching their last game, getting the flow of how they do it, and then you're breaking it down by down and distance, by personnel, trying to find tendencies that they may have in certain field zones. So certainly not a day off. and it makes for a couple of long days as well.
So when you break down the field, what did you like about your secondary play in Montreal?
Well, you start with the obvious, right? Tyrell's playing, he's having a hell of a season right now, and he attacks the ball, second to none, in terms of defensive backs in the CFL. His ability to go up and get it is pretty remarkable. And then there was plays throughout the game, where I felt like, okay, that was, we played fast right there. We played physical. So there was, a few things that I liked, but, just being honest from an overall standpoint, as a unit, and as a defense, we didn't play to our standard, especially when you're playing a Grey Cup champion, contending team, and a team that's well coached and has a strong culture. They certainly played the better game and proved that, on Saturday that they were the better team. So, yeah, you mentioned that it didn't, you didn't have the kind of the game that you wanted overall. We just had Rick Walters on. He talked about in the second half how, receiver screens, they just kept running that play and we're getting 8-9 yards out of it all the time. So after you see that film, Aaron, what would you want? Like, how do you break it down to guys say, okay, this is what we're going to need to do next time to counter when a team does that? Yeah, for sure. And just touching on those screens, like that's something Montreal does. It's part of their game. I think they throw more screens than any other offense in the CFL. And I want to say, when we did our report on them throughout the week, they average like 14 yards per screen, believe it or not. So they're very efficient with their screen game and when they call it. And, when it comes down to it, you got to play fast and tackle well first. Teams that throw screen a lot, which is two things we didn't do, So when you talk about us not playing to our standard, we take pride in playing fast. We take pride in being violent, and we take pride in tackling well. And we didn't do those two things. We got out physical. We played a little bit slower than we'd like, and we certainly didn't tackle up to our standard. So, when you look back at it and you start trying to move forward for next week, you think, okay, we need to get back to our fundamentals, our core beliefs, who we are, what's our identity, and that's where you start. Yeah. Okay. So, and that it was funny you mentioned the physical part, because I felt that was maybe the first game all year where the other team was more physical, right? Like you're going to lose some games where you play well, but physical is something you guys wanted to do. So how is that an easy thing for a coaching staff, to when the message from yourself and Coach Killam to the players, okay, guys, we got to get back to our core. These are some of our beliefs. Having played as long as you have, Aaron, any reason why you felt like, a team sometimes could be out physical? Yeah, I think if you look at where we're at in our season, there's so many things you can bring up, right? But that's just going to sound like an excuse, right? At the end of the day, we went out there and Montreal showed that on that Saturday, they were the better team. You know what I mean? There's a lot of factors that can go into it. But I don't, for lack of a better term, and I can get into it, but I don't even like bringing those things up. I don't want anybody to think we're making excuses. We got beat. We got our butts whooped. And it is, I don't want to say it's easy to get back to our standard, because that takes time to create that standard and that culture. But certainly when you have the right people in the room, which we damn sure do, yes, it is easy to get back to the standard. You watch it, you take your ego out of it, and you let it piss you off a little bit. And then you do realize, like, okay, that was not to our standard, from players and from coaches. So there's only one way to get back to our standard, and that's putting the work back in and getting back to the process. And we have the people in the room that understand that. So certainly feel good about getting back on track. Aaron Grimes joins us. You mentioned Ford and the season he's having. And you know what? It's been spectacular. He's come up with huge interceptions at different times. Having played that position specific, when you see a guy, what is it about Ford right now that has him in the zone? What's the best part of his game? There's two things that pop out when I watch T. Ford play and how I get to coach him is he plays the field corner spot, which allows him to play with a lot of vision. So his ability to read, route patterns and to read play action versus drop back pass, he does a pretty good job of always looking inside when it's a zone call and being able to see what's going on. And then, like I said, the other one, and sometimes some people have this and some people don't, and you can work on catching and you can get better with hands and all that. But his ability and his mindset to go up and attack the football and go catch it versus just trying to knock it down. I said it a second ago, but it's really second to none. T4's ability to go up there and play that football it's pretty remarkable to see, and it's a reason why he is able to play the ball so well, and it's a reason why he has 5 interceptions right now, halfway through the season.
So you look at, you mentioned, hey, you're already planning ahead, which you can't live in the past in football or really in life overall. I think you have to address it, and now you move forward and you look for Toronto, and you have a quarterback who's not afraid to make every throw, and sometimes it'll go to his teams, and a lot of times it'll go to the opposing team. Aaron, is this a week where the emphasis, the interceptions are going to be there? It's just a matter of ensuring that you get your hands on it and hold on to it when it comes.
Absolutely. And that is something we talk about every week, but certainly against teams that like to throw the ball a lot, is we have to take advantage of the opportunities that come our way. A lot of times I talk to the guys in the room, if we just make the plays we're supposed to make, that puts us in all-star conversations. That puts us in playoff team conversations. That puts us in great defensive conversations. When you look around the league, and you watch, drop interceptions or missed sacks or missed tackles, like a lot of those things are just making your play when it comes. Every now and then there's a player who has to go make a spectacular play, but that's, few and far between. If we can make the ones that come our way and make sure when they hit our hands, they don't hit the ground, then we put ourselves in a great position to win a football game. And that's something that we continue to preach on as a unit. Play fast, play violent, and when the ball comes your way, make your play. Don't worry about trying to go make somebody else's play. And when you play against teams that pass the ball a lot, then you get more opportunities to go make your play.
Aaron, I want to talk about drop back depth as a DB coach, because every play, like, okay, you know what, we're playing zone here, and some guy will drop back and start at the 6-yard line deep, and some guys might be 7. It all kind of depends a little bit on feel and probably confidence at times. If you see a guy who's dropping back too deep too often, does that tell you he's lacking confidence, or what is it, and how do you change that as a coach?
Dropping back like the quarterback drop back depth?
No, the DBs, right? So you're dropping back, right? Get it? And so
I got you.
Yeah. So the DBs depth. So because that's obviously who you're coaching. So when you see that, like, can the guy, because you play the position, and sometimes maybe okay, well, this slot receiver is a little bit faster, so maybe I got to give him a little bit more, or maybe I got to step up more. I know it varies from time to time, but how close do you watch at? And if you have a guy who's too deep all the time, because then he just can't get up on the short play, how do you adjust to that? And how much of that is confidence, and how much of that is just, coaching depth?
Some of it is confidence for sure, but you do try to build these guys with confidence. Some of that is game plan and personnel as well. You hit it on the head. If you're going against a guy who has next level speed, you're probably going to give him a little bit more of a cushion, because at the end of the day, you want to keep the top on the defense. And then sometimes you get guys who don't even realize they're playing that far off. So you watch the film, you see the iPads, or you watch practice, and it's a continuous reminder. That's part of coaching, right? Like, hey, you're sitting here at 10 yards and you're playing man-to-man and you're still backpedaling. If you're going to be at 10, then don't move your feet. But if you're going to move your feet, then you can just scoot up to 7 or 8, right? So it's really just understanding which player you're talking to, how they're playing, how they like to play the game, but then also who they're going against. And then sometimes there's zones, where if you call the zone and they're a deep, zone defender, then they have to get deep, because as soon as they jump up and try to bite that short route, it's a double move. They get beat over the top, and now they're in trouble for busting the coverage. You know what I mean? So it all depends on the call and the personnel. But yes, an easy answer is yes. Like if we're playing man-to-man and the guy's off too far and backpedaling, that's an issue. If you're going to give yourself more cushion, then you need to be more patient. The closer you get, then the more urgent you can be out of your pedal.
Okay. And so as a DB coach, because everybody's different, everybody's going to have, certain, they feel more confident at this one, but you talked about man-to-man. And when you want, like, how aggressive do you want your DBs to be up on the line? How much of that is feel? How much of that is, no, this play here, I don't care if you're Kobe Williams, if you're Ford, whoever your Ross, doesn't matter where you're playing, we need you up on it. How much does that go into it on, and how much of that is situational or who the opponent is?
You know what, Gregor? I would say almost all of it is situational and who the opponent is, but also what position you play, right? Like if you look at Tyrell Ford and J.J. Ross, both of them play corner, but one plays to the field and one plays to the boundary. Everything happens faster in the boundary because there's a shorter distance.
Yes.
So I'm going to challenge JJ to play a little bit tighter, a little bit more patient. Where T Ford, we're going to let him play with a little bit more depth and a little bit more vision because it takes so much longer for the football to get out to him that he can read routes and still adjust and make his play. So, and then also, is it 2nd and 4 and we're calling man-to-man? Well, I want everybody to play tight, right? Because this is a heavy quick game or run game D&D. Or is it 2nd and 10, and we're sending pressure? So the call and the situation will certainly depend on that, but also the position you play will also depend on that.
And when you have, because you have the 5 secondary guys, but then Kenny Logan Jr. is kind of bordering on one, right? Because he's kind of a tweener. He drops back in coverage a lot. He also plays in the linebacking core. When he gets injured, how much does that alter what the defense can do and how you call plays?
It's massive when somebody like Kenny Logan, we call him K1, when somebody like that goes down because he plays such an integral position on the defense. That, like you said, the Sam linebacker or the nickel DB really is what he is. He's blitzing. He has to understand run fits. He has to cover man-to-man. He has to know when he's a low zone or a high zone guy. And you can't just plug and play that position as easy. You know what I mean? Even if you have another smart player like Cordell Jackson, who's probably one of the smartest DBs in the league, you still got to get reps at that position to see it and play fast. And then when you move somebody from another integral spot, then the next person coming in has to see it and diagnose it just as fast, So the spot that Kenny Logan plays is it's not an easy one to play.
No.
In this league. So, and he's playing at a high level as well, right? So it certainly hurts when it happens in game, but you know how it is. It's professional football, and everybody's here to win and provide for their families. So it certainly is a next man up mentality, and we got the guys in the room to take care of that.
Are you expecting him to be ready this week?
I don't think I'm allowed to speak on that.
Okay.
I'm going to pass judgment on that.
Okay. No, that's fair. But in that game, when you have that and you move it all around, how much of that is a collaboration between you and JC as far as how you're going to have to suddenly call the defense different?
You know what? That's actually part of coaching. It's part of what goes on throughout the week. Hey, if this person goes down, who's the next? If the Sam linebacker spot goes down, who's the next Sam linebacker in? Okay, if it's player X, then who comes in for player X's position? Okay, now let's say that person gets hurt, then who's the next person in, right? So we go through personnel situations all throughout the game at D-line, linebacker, and defensive back. I know they do it on offense too. So when K1 gets hurt in the game, the immediate response is whatever we've talked about throughout the week. Okay, here's the rotation, so on and so forth. Now, this is the CFL, and there's, 42-man rosters. One injury is going to hurt you. 2 injuries, and, you're up the creek without a paddle. So we try not to get to that point, but you can only control what you can control.
Right. Yeah. And it's one where you're definitely moving. Now, the other one is, how about in the course of the game, and let's just go receiver coach, DB coach. Do you talk to Tucker at all about if you're seeing something that their DBs are doing or not doing against your receivers? How much of that offense, defensive communication potentially goes on, or is that more halftime stuff?
That'd be more pregame and halftime stuff. I go to Coach Tuck, who I have a lot of respect for. I think all the city of Edmonton does. And I'll ask him, what looks kind of give receivers issues disguise-wise, or, how receivers might see, certain patterns. But in game, I don't even bother talking to the offense because they've got all of our plates are so full in game. You know what I mean? That's kind of goes into part of the game plan.
Okay, so that would be more either before or potentially at halftime. And I've always wanted to ask you this, like the halftime adjustments that, so, we talked about that screenplay earlier on, or is it for you, is it just certain DB, we got to be leery of these routes. This is what they want to run, or do you not worry about what they've done? Is it more so worrying about what you think they're going to do?
It's a good mix of both. So it's, okay, what have they done? One, what have we done that's worked? Okay, this is working, then we'll keep doing it. But if their counter to that is this, then this is our counter to their counter. It's kind of like a chess match.
Right.
And then we talk to the staff, the defensive staff, before we even come into the locker room and talk to the players. And it's, okay, what have they done that they've had success with? Because they're going to come back to that. And then where are areas that maybe they could have hit us, but they didn't find it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And because they're going to look at the iPad and they're going to say, hell, we could have had them on play 36. So let's make sure we come back to that. But the offense might dress it up different. So they're not going to make it look the exact same. And then you go and you talk to the players and you talk to them about that. Like, hey, they've ran screen a couple of times. Either it has or it hasn't worked. If it has, they're going to screen again, but be ready for the screen and go. Right. Be ready for the double pass. Right. Things like that, which T Ford was ready for and intercepted the ball in the game. So there certainly is adjustments that go into it. And a lot of it is, from what we talked about throughout the week, what's been working, what do we need to stop running? What do we need to run more of? And where are they going to try to attack us based on what happened in the first half?
Aaron Grimes joins us, a defensive back coach of the Green and Gold. And Aaron, I think it was pretty obvious last year early on, very young DB core, young coordinator, young secondary coach, and a little bit more passive. And as the season went along, the defense got way better and obviously picked up kind of where it left off and even improved as number one ranked defense up until this past week. But there's still lots of young guys relative in your secondary overall. So now last year was probably not that you don't coach, you're doing a ton of coaching, but last year there was lots of just introducing guys. And until they got to see it, it's really hard to know how to defend it. Now they've pretty much seen most things. So how does it change how you can approach and challenge your DBs this year because they understand situations way more fluidly than they would have maybe early on last year?
Yeah, I think the challenge now goes from, we talked about it just a little bit earlier, is, okay, now we are in the right spots because we know where to be. We know what we're being asked to do in this situation and in this call. Now that we're in this spot, let's go attack the football. Let's go take it away. Let's give this back to our offense as many times as we possibly can. And that's something that, and JC always talks about, you're going to get what you emphasize, and that certainly is, takeaways are something we've been, a lot better at least the first half of the season than we were last year. So continuing to push that line and then challenge guys to keep getting better. Okay, you were close on that play, or maybe you made that play or you knocked that one down, but how can we catch it next time? And just continue to push them and challenge them, try to get more out of them, and then show them that we're also pushing ourselves and we're challenging ourselves as a staff and we're holding ourselves accountable too, because a lot of times when you get a new group and a young group, sometimes they need to see the results before they truly buy into what you're selling. And, we certainly have had, a little bit better results, so far this season, which doesn't mean anything for the rest of the season, but there's at least a little bit of a belief system in, hey, these guys are going to put it on the line. For us as coaches, we're going to do the same thing for them as players, and we're all in this together.
Aaron, as always, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Continued success, a great first half of the year at 6-3, and hopefully can start the second half with a big win on Saturday against Toronto. Thanks so much for your time.
I appreciate you, Gregor, as always. See you around.
You betcha, man. That's Aaron Grimes, defensive back coach of the Edmonton Elks. And, man, really good insight on the team. Kenny Logan Jr., I'm not sure it's going to be great news for him, at least in the short term, but so that's going to alter some change. Honestly, of all the defensive positions, Declan, that might be the worst guy to get injured for your team because it's such an integral part of the defense. And there's not many guys who can play that position.
Yeah, the versatility, certainly. Him or Terrell Ford, right? You would have to be one of those two. Obviously, positions are different, but what Terrell does at that position would lend itself to that. The luxury, I guess, is maybe KJ comes down there and plays. Then you throw Leonard Johnson into that half spot, although you maybe don't love what you've seen from him. So it's a tough break, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, Tennyson?
I loved Ladarius Tennyson during training camp. Loved him. Had a great conversation with him. You can still read the article at elksnation.ca. And he brings an aggression that Kenny Logan, he emulates that. That was, I think, one thing that really got Kenny noticed. Mark Killam talked about that at the beginning of last year. I think Ladarius Tennyson has that same kind of quality to him.
Yeah, definitely something to look for. Quick break. We will return. It is the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Bill Bender will join us here, the Gregor Show.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, noodle, nood.
Troll down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Come on down to the Brick. The Price is Right live event is on now. Enter in-store for your chance to instantly win from over $1 million in prizes. No purchase necessary. Then shop incredible savings throughout the store, like up to $2,220 off select sectionals, up to 40% off select mattresses, up to 20% off select major appliances, and up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus, finance with 0% interest and equal monthly payment on qualified purchases. These offers end August 12th. The Brick, saving you more.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience? All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
For a silly hockey fans, your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, the Brute Squad, Morningwood, Rockzilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
West Ave and 118th.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Ewell, helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. Ewell.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$4.29. Lovely Monday, man. Another big storm again. God, it just never stops, man. No mas. Just like torrential downpour, thunder, everything. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just my memory's bad, but God, I don't remember this many like mid-afternoon thunderstorms just going bananas. So it seems a little wild right now. But maybe one day it'll slow down this year. We'll see. We shall see. Anyway, let's get to our NFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change, no overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. As we are joined once again from the sporting news to talk all things NFL. Bill Bender joins us. Bill, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And hey, here in Ohio, we've been getting a lot of those thunderstorms too, man. Let's get those out of here.
Yeah, well, yeah, you guys in Ohio though, you get a few twisters out there.
Yeah, every once in a while. Not like we haven't had one like where I live necessarily, but they're around. And it was pretty nasty this morning. It was just like I had to go upstairs and say, what's going on up there? But definitely hoping for better weather, hoping for some fall weather, because fall weather means football, and it's my favorite time of year.
Yeah, well, football is coming around. They had the Hall of Fame game. Man, that was quite the Hall of Fame class that went in. You got the star QB and a star running back and a star receiver and a star kicker, and then, a pretty good player on the defensive side of the ball as well, Bill. Quickly, just kind of recapping your thoughts of the Hall of Fame weekend.
Well, I think class. That's what says it. All of those guys, Drew Brees, Luke Kuechly, Roger Craig, Larry Fitzgerald, Adam Vinatieri, clutch performers that you never heard them a lot of bad things said about, like Kuechly, Roger Craig. I remember him growing up as a kid and looking back at it, he reveals the dementia diagnosis, but which you want the best for him, because I remember him as a baller in the Super Bowl. When it was the Super Bowl, he played well, and the numbers back that up as a kind of a trend-setting running back. How good would he be today in today's NFL? He'd catch 100 balls every season.
Yeah, that is it is interesting. It's something that they're kind of at the latter few years of the Hall of Fame class, where the game was just a lot different, where running backs used to be a major part of the offense. Not that they aren't, but the guys who would play the majority of the game. There wasn't third down backs, and you weren't passing the ball nearly as much as you do now. Like the game has really changed, and there's a few of those guys. Roger Craig would have been one of them that I think probably would have. A lot of those guys would have excelled, but he had great hands. He would have excelled for sure in how they play today.
For sure, and I think that's the nod to it. Like, I don't know what the math is on how do you transform Larry Fitzgerald's stats to the 80s. I know he could have played in the 80s when corners were grabbing receivers all the time. I still think Larry Fitzgerald would have been fine, and vice versa. Drew Brees is probably one of the most underappreciated elite quarterbacks in some ways. And I just, speaking from a Green Bay fan's perspective, he would torch the Packers, and it drove me nuts. I mean, he was so good against Green Bay and so good against everybody else. Luke Kuechly, one of the brightest football minds, and Vinatieri, one of the most clutch kickers. So yeah, this was a really, when it first was released, I was like, class is okay. And then the more you think about it, man, that was a really good class, really good show. Got us in the mood for football, no doubt.
So you look to football now, and if I'd ask you, what's the story or angle that across the league has you most intrigued?
Probably the Rams. And, you trade for Garrett, and instantly, does that push them over the top in the NFC? I mean, they're probably going to be most people's Super Bowl pick around Stafford and that offense. And then you put Myles Garrett. Will Aaron Donald join? What will it look like if Aaron Donald joins? You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't played football for a while. I would assume he would be good, but how good, how fast? And how do they manage those expectations in that division where, oh, by the way, Seattle won the Super Bowl, and the Niners will still be a factor. So I think that's one. Speaking as a Green Bay fan again, I mean, what did the Bears do as an encore? They really burst onto the scene with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, and they're going to be very good again, I think, in that NFC North. So those are a couple that jump out on the NFC side. I guess on the AFC side, who steps up? Pittsburgh and Baltimore have new coaches. Cincinnati, will it be them? Will it be Buffalo? Will Josh Allen finally get to that Super Bowl? What do the Chiefs look like? There is a lot to monitor in that AFC with all those elite quarterbacks.
Bill Bender, the Sporting News, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show, taking a look around the NFL. And Bill, today Quinnen Williams got the big deal from the Dallas Cowboys. And, last year their defense was historically bad, but they bring him in, they make the change at defensive coordinator, you draft Caleb Downs. For a team who has so much upside offensively, it just seems like the defense needs to be okay. Do you think they've done enough this offseason?
I've heard really good things about Caleb Downs, and being here in Columbus, Ohio, it doesn't surprise me at all. He's one of the, when they draft, number one, I can't believe he fell outside of the top 10. That's one. With how good he was at Ohio State, one of the most intelligent football players I've ever seen, game breaker type. And how quickly does he immediately become a factor in the back end for the Cowboys? I think it's now. And along with that contract for Williams, improvements they made, like you said, new defensive coordinator, they could be better. They need to be better. And if they are a little bit better, it becomes one of the early season storylines because, of course, it's the Dallas Cowboys. So they are a very interesting team if they can get that side of the ball going. And I think those additions will expedite that process.
Bill, we saw today down at Chiefs practice, Eric Bieniemy making his first return at camp since the shooting of his wife, who is in stable condition, which is great news. What are your thoughts on the Chiefs? Are you expecting a bounce back season, or is this the end of the dynasty?
I think it's I don't know if it's the end, because anytime Patrick Mahomes is on the field, you're going to have a chance, and even when it kind of looked like the end before his injury last year, I think just losing those the close games caught up with them. They'll still be a factor. I mean, they're in a hyper-competitive division too. I mean, the Chargers, perennial playoff team with Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. The Broncos, not going anywhere. They're going to be tough again with Sean Payton and Bo Nix. And then I think the Raiders, it's not yet, but for an organization that's been as dysfunctional as they have been over the years, they made some good draft picks and a core offense with Mendoza. I know it's going to probably start with Cousins, but Mendoza, Ashton Jeanty, Brock Bowers, those are guys that when I'm covering the college game for Sporting News, those have been some of the best players in college football this decade. So brighter days are ahead for the Raiders, which I haven't said in a long time.
Bill Bender joins us. Bill, what's your thoughts on the Jacksonville Jaguars? 13-4 last season. Obviously, it's hard to go back to back 13-win seasons, but what's your expectations for an organization that's rarely been good multiple years in a row?
Well, I think that speaks to what Liam Cohen was able to do with Trevor Lawrence, with the draft picks that they made. The defense improved. And in that, I think when you have success in the AFC South, we don't, maybe I'm guilty of it too, you don't collectively pay attention to it as much. And because, and that's just telling the truth, right? Yeah. I mean, I think the Colts could be competitive again in that division. I think the Texans, obviously, with C.J. Stroud, and that defense will be good again. They were very good last year, too. And then I'm interested in Tennessee with Cam Ward adding on my timeline right now. Carnell Tate's popping up every 5 seconds. So he's making some catches for them, and I wonder how much better they'll be. But anybody can win that division with 10 or 11 games, but can they do it in the playoffs? I think that's why we dismissed it so quick, right? Because you can have success in that division, but when's the last time one of those teams has been in the Super Bowl? It's been a while.
Oh, God, yeah, for sure. We talk a lot about, when you get a new coach to a team and everyone's like, okay, the new coach. But lots of times, the coordinators are just as impactful. And I'm not sold that, some guys are great offensive coordinators. They're not great head coaches. There's a lot more that goes into it. What do you make of the McDaniel-Harbaugh combination for the Chargers and what you think he can bring to that team, specifically with Justin Herbert as their quarterback?
Well, that's one of the most interesting pairings in recent memory, first of all. And their social media team is so good that I think they're going to lean into that. One of the things being around Jim Harbaugh when he was at Michigan, he did have coordinators that had very different personalities than him. I mean, think about it. Mike McDonald was his defensive coordinator. And those two are very different personalities, but they go toward the same result. I'm wondering what it means for the creativity in the offense and how McDaniel, I mean, at the root of it, though, they were really good in Miami when they could run the ball. And Jim Harbaugh loves to run the ball. And if they can do that around Herbert's talent very interesting pairing. And I like odd couple personalities as it is. So that will be very much that in Los Angeles this season.
Yeah. The other team is, what about Cincinnati and Joe Burrow? They got the quarterback, they got the running back, they got two great receivers. But is their defense going to be any good? Can Cincinnati they don't have to be great, but at least be competent defensively? And do you think Joe can stay healthy?
Well, if he does, and that defense, which added, Allen, Dexter Lawrence in the trade that I think was a win-win for both teams, this is their window. And again, I live in Central Ohio. I have tons of friends who are Bengals fans. So when I say this, it's not coming from, a myopic point of view, but I'm just saying the Bills have a new coach. The Ravens and Steelers have new coaches. The Chiefs, we just talked about, there's this idea of, are they aging? Is that dynasty over? And it's time. It's go time for Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow to make this run. We know how good Joe Burrow is when he's healthy. That offense, borderline unstoppable at times with those receivers. And if the defense is a little bit better, and I think it will be, they could easily win that division, make that run, return to the Super Bowl. If I was picking a Super Bowl today, and I'll say it, I would pick Rams-Bengals, rematch in SoFi Stadium. But I'm far less confident in the Bengals than I am the Rams.
Yeah. What's your expectations when he finally does sign later this month? How impactful do you think Aaron Donald's going to be?
Well, that's what I'm interested to see. I mean, if he's even 75% of what he was a couple years ago, they're in business, because you put Donald, it's terrifying to think about if you're a quarterback. If Donald's even 70% that, I would imagine limited reps early. He's not going to play every play, and maybe some pass rushing combos where him and Garrett are on the same side of the field. And that's terrifying, because those are two of the best. And a little bit later this month, Sporting News is coming out with a couple 140th anniversary pieces on, like greatest players and those kind of things. And at least in this generation, I think it's not a stretch to say Donald and Garrett are the two best defensive players I've seen in the last 20 years.
Oh, that'd be a good article. I look forward to that. Bill, great stuff. We appreciate it as always. Thanks for your time. And we'll get, one last week of preseason. So that's got to be good news for everybody covering the NFL. And the season will be upon us very soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. Talk to you again soon.
You betcha. There's Bill Bender joining us from the Sporting News wide scope of the NFL. Interesting, Cons. I know you and Deck have watched, and so in the last 20 years, would there be somebody that you would rank better defensively than those two?
Ooh, Patrick Willis was really dang good. Luke Kuechly, who just went the Hall of Fame, was unbelievable short term. Safety wise, I got nobody coming to mind. Ed Reed would have lingered into the conversation there, because he was what, 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
So he'd be in the conversation for sure, but like immediate impact, Aaron Donald was incredible. I mean, for a guy who, the size coming out, like he's kind of short, but can get to the quarterback, and Myles Garrett just broke the sack record. So no, I mean, I think that'd be a pretty good debate. I don't think there's too many that have the impact that they have.
I kind of like Bill's idea of lining them both up on the same side of the ball.
Oh, absolutely. What do you do? It would take 1 millisecond of hesitation with those two, and you would be exposed immediately. I don't know who would be like the Chargers kind of run their NASCAR package and they throw 3 pass rushers out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, you could do those sorts of things. Like Poona Ford is a beast in the middle. He'll take on the double teams. Kobe Turner and Braden Fisk are both really good players.
But do you honestly think he's going to have to take on a double team?
Well, not with those two out there, probably not. Well, if he wants to, maybe he'll just do that or try to. But I guess you don't want to double team him with those guys out there. Like the packages that they can come up with on that defensive side of the ball is incredible. And then 2 good corners coming over from Kansas City, one via free agency, one with the trade. Like this is a scary, scary team. And what they had to do, right? Like as good as they were last year, they couldn't get past Seattle. So don't sit on your hands. Go out there and build up his team, and they've done it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. What do you make of that trade between the Chiefs?
Oh, Trent McDuffie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was good for them. Obviously, to get that first round pick. And we had a Chiefs guest on earlier today, Bethany Bowman, who covers the team down in KC. And we talked about how the last time the Chiefs had 2 first round picks, they went Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis. This year they go Peter Woods and the cornerback out of LSU, Delane. So they've kind of rebuilt that what they did before, and obviously that led them to championships. So I think it was good for Kansas City to get younger and get cheaper at the position, and for the Rams, a team that's contending. And how much longer do you have this window with Matthew Stafford? Go all in. So I really liked it for both sides, actually.
All right. We'll come back. We'll get to 5 questions. Jason Gregor, Declan Kruger, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
The second half is yours. Lock in your seat with our new 5-game season pass and get a $25 voucher. Half season, full energy. Get your season pass at goelks.com. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year.
Mr. Rooter cries like a little tiny baby child.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you've got a package from Mrs. Rooter.
Aw, the card says, "Thank you for our unbreakable bond. You're the pro press fitting to my copper pipe."
Ooh, what's in the package, Mr. Rooter?
Let's see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. She knew I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's flowing or it's free with Mr. Rooter.
I love that woman.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Edmonton, thinking about your next SUV? Think Subaru. The Subaru Forester has earned an IIHS top safety pick or higher for 20 years in a row. Add legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and the 2026 JD Power Canada Best Residual Value Award among compact SUVs, and you've got an SUV that's built to protect today and hold its value tomorrow. This month, take advantage of loyalty rates as low as 0.99%. Come test drive the Forester at your local Subaru dealership today. Welcome to Uncommon.
He came home, and right away I saw that look in his eyes. I knew what was coming. Before I could even speak, he raised his hand
and just kept texting me, asking where I was, demanding I respond immediately or I'd regret it. It hurt.
More than you can imagine.
Tech abuse is real abuse. If you or someone you know is using technology to harm or control, change is possible. Learn how to end the violence at alberta.ca/endgbv. A message from the Government of Alberta.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering. A happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at CanTorque.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Monday afternoon, rolling along. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It's a Gregor Show, always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. $30 million. Lotto Max. Get your tickets for tomorrow's draw and 30 prizes of $100,000 at PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time now for 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where you got a few days left. The Price is Right live event is on now at The Brick. And save up to over $2,200 off select sectionals, 40% off select mattresses, $600 off big screen TVs, and more. The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Quickly, Jason, a couple more. JJ Watt, Jarrell Revis, Khalil Mack, some good players in the last 20 years. Gotta give them their due as well. Question number 1 for you. What was the biggest takeaway from the Elks loss over the weekend out in Montreal?
Good question. Honestly, for me, it was just that it was a rare game where the other team was more physical than them in all 3 facets of the game. And I know because that's something that they've talked about. That's something I think that is really kind of part of their event. So I would expect Toronto game, they're going to be physical. You can never guarantee a win, but I think if they're more physical, that will lead to more opportunities. Toronto doesn't have a great offensive line. I think if they can pressure Kelly, he'll throw a lot of balls, and some of them will be very catchable for interceptions. So, but to me, it was the fact that Montreal ran over them, right? Like in a lot of areas on that field. And that was a little surprising to me. We hadn't seen that yet this year.
Yeah, I'd probably say, to go in a different direction, just the big play. The Owls made big plays. They blocked punts. They took shots downfield, completed them, kind of torched the Elks secondary. So the big play was there to be had, and for the Edmonton Elks, it wasn't on their side. The Alouettes took advantage of it. Really good performance by them. Question number 2 now, when you look at the CFL, I think 1 through 3 will probably be similar, but who are your top 5 teams power ranking wise?
Well, Montreal's number 1 for sure. I kind of have Edmonton, Saskatchewan tied. They're pretty even. Like they played each other head to head twice. They each won by 2 points. I'm not really sure what more you can ask. I would have BC at 4 and Calgary at 5.
Yeah, tough to really disagree with you on that one. I, like last week, Declan and I kind of were debating it. I would have Montreal, then I go Saskatchewan, then Edmonton. So there's my 1, 2, 3. BC's coming on. They're still technically last spot in the Western Conference, but getting healthy, and they've won now 2 in a row. I'll throw Winnipeg in there. They've been really good on the road. They're 1-4 at home. They got to find a way to win at home here, but I'll go with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Question number 3 for you. Anything can happen, but it looks like the Yankees and Red Sox are pretty solidified with those AL wildcard spots. Who do you think will be taking the 3rd and final wildcard spot?
Go ahead.
My heart says the Jays. My brain, on the other hand, sees it going up for any direction. I mean, a lot of these teams that are playing have already sold off. Tigers are 7-3 in their last 10. They've won a couple in a row. And of the other teams, they're the only team with a positive run differential at plus 87, which is better than the Yankees and the Red Sox. So Let's go Tigers.
Well, Detroit would be a good one, but they don't have Skubal, so that's tough.
But
it is interesting. When you look at like Seattle, man, we probably don't talk God. The Jays have been really bad, but Seattle's season's awful. Geez, Cal Raleigh and Vladdy Guerrero, 2 big boppers last year that are doing a whole lot of nothing this year. Baltimore, I can't believe in. If I won't copy you, so I'll say Texas Rangers would be the team. But honestly, ask me this question next Monday, and I might have a much different answer to this. This week will determine the Jays season. I firmly believe that. They're either going to still be in the mix or they're done.
Totally agree. Yeah, it's a massive week against the Red Sox and the Yankees. Question number 4, the Arizona Cardinals announcing today that they're going to retire Larry Fitzgerald's number 11. Of course, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame over the weekend. Who are your top number 11s in sports?
Oh, well, Mark Messier. Got to be. Mess is the clear best for me at number 11. And I'm trying to think. Fitzgerald would be that. You know what? How else I'm going to go? I'm going to go with he was unreal at shortstop, Barry Larkin.
That's good. How about we go Isaiah Thomas and then college Matt Leinart when he was at USC.
Jeez. Come on.
He's my only athlete Twitter beef of all time.
Why?
Well, he was calling out a coach, and I defended the coach because they were a Charger at the time. He said Ken Whisenhunt wasn't very good coach.
Well, didn't it turn out to be right?
Well, I mean, Ken had good seasons with Roethlisberger and Kurt Warner, so maybe it wasn't all coach. That's all I was saying to Mr. Leinart. But heck of a quarterback at USC with the Trojans.
Did he come back at you with your thought?
Oh yeah. Well, he said like, "Oh, you would know. You've been in a room." Humbled me pretty quick. What do you say? Of course, you're right, Mr. Leinart. And I stopped.
Just being in the room doesn't necessarily mean it. There's lots of guys in the room who aren't that smart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was trying to say some quarterbacks have been pretty good under him. I wouldn't just, say he's a bad coach. Maybe just didn't work in Matt Leinart's situation. Final question for you. On this day in 1960, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho was released, had a few classic scenes. Maybe some people were afraid to take showers after it. Is there a scene from a scary movie you'll never forget due to maybe how scary it was or just the impact it had on you?
Go ahead.
I mean, I just think of The Shining and the old lady in the tub. That one, like, obviously there's more to it than just being scary, but it was like kind of like, what is going on here? Other than that, the movie The Nun, just that movie's existence has freaked me out. And I know some people say it's not even that scary, but for whatever reason, just the image of the nun in that movie, don't like it. Stuck with me.
Jeez, I don't know if I've ever seen that. The Nun?
The Nun,
like,
yeah.
when did that come out?
Oh, I had to look it up. 2018.
2018. And it's like a real scary movie?
I don't even know if it is that scary. Like, some people don't find it. Beck, you got it as a scary movie? He's giving a maybe, kind of. I believe it's in the same universe as Annabelle.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I was not a fan of it. She looks terrifying to me.
Right. Did you ever watch Rosemary's Baby?
No.
There had a ritual in that movie. Mia Farrow's in, like, it was a weird movie. We're just talking scenes, like, and it was, it was like a Satan, being birthed by a human woman. It was awful. Like, of all the scenes in a movie, Cons. Now, the other one it's funny. I remember it vividly. It doesn't bother me. It's still like one of the greatest scary scenes was, without question, Kathy Bates.
Oh yeah.
In Misery. And when she took the sledgehammer to James Caan's foot, you're just like, oh my God. It was so well, like, Kathy Bates was one of the greatest psychos in acting history in my mind. Like, because first of all, let's be honest, you don't have many women portrayed that way, right? You don't.
No.
And she was just like, so, you'd look at her eyes, couldn't see anything, like all the typical things that you would say. But a lot of times it's about a guy. And I thought Kathy Bates was so damn good. Obviously she won it, but I remember watching Misery and, like, it was such a great movie. But when she broke his ankle, you're just like, oh my, she will go to any level here. Like, it was next level. It was so awesome just how she did. So that one didn't impact me negatively. I just remembered, like, whew, that was good, man. That was really good.
Have you seen Midsummer?
I don't. Who's in it? I don't know.
Oh, I don't even know who's in it.
So.
It is Florence Pugh. Oh, the kid with the eyebrows is in it as well. There's one scene, and the word is Edistupa. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation because it is set in Sweden, but seniors who can't take care of themselves anymore jump off a cliff. And that's another one. Like, I would never watch that movie again. It was twisted.
So basically that's how they commit suicide?
Yeah. And it was like it was a thing this community did. Don't watch it. It's a weird movie.
All right. We got hey guys, what about Buffalo Bill Dancing in the Mirror? That one from Parkway. Yeah, that was a different scene for sure. What about Jaws, the first kill scene? Oh, that was good, Kurt. Good one. Guys, Hereditary. That will get you. Ooh. Yeah, that's a good one, actually. Forgot about that one. Guys, same universe in The Conjuring. Yeah, there's like I'm always amazed by some of the writers who come up with some of these things.
So the guy who did Hereditary did Midsummer as well.
Oh, did he?
So I haven't seen Hereditary.
Oh, dude, you should watch. Hereditary's good. Like, creepy good, but it's good. Like I like a movie that's going to move you emotionally. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it'll make you angry. Sometimes it's going to have you thinking, right? Like, to me, a movie, even if it just like freaks me out a bit, I'm like, okay, well, it's still pretty good. Like, The Ring is not a horror movie, but to me is one of the best psychological thrillers out there. Like, I love The Ring. Ring 2, man. But The Ring, the original one, Cons, I still don't think you've seen it, have you?
No, I haven't.
You need to watch it. Honest. Declan, have you seen The Ring? Yeah.
I saw it with a group of people, and it was kind of mocking it as it happened. So I got to go back and check it out.
Oh, yeah. So, but you know what? People were doing that, Cons, because they were getting scared.
Yeah.
So they had to decide, like, hey, you know what? I have to deflect here.
Totally.
You have to. So I get it. Everybody's probably watched a movie like that with their friends who, when they get scared, they're like, well, I don't want people to know I'm scared. So now I'm going to act out and I'm going to do things to kind of take off the focus of the movie. It's understandable that you're scaredy. So Hereditary. Oof. Haven't thought of that one in a while. I like it. Hey, guys, what about the stigmata scene in the bus when she floats and gets whipped? That one stuck with me. Oof. Man, the other one was 12 Years a Slave. Man, like, some of those scenes in 12 Years a Slave, because you knew it was true. And that's what made it tough, right? When you had the slaves getting whipped and beat, like, watching that, it was very graphic, but it also, you knew that actually occurred. And that's what made it tough. But also, I think it's important to watch that stuff. So you hope that we're aware of it and it doesn't happen again, because history does repeat itself. We've seen it all the time. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. And they like giving you deals so much that they've extended employee pricing for a few more weeks. So stop in, get yourself a great deal. Say hi to Mike, ask him about his cabin, fishing. That'll get you on the ends to get a good deal. NorthgateGM.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Blue Jays in action, taking on the Red Sox just after 5 o'clock. We'll join it in progress following the Jason Gregor show on our AM feed only. Elsewhere, you got the Mets and the Braves. Twins host the Orioles, Phillies in St. Louis. Rangers, Angels, Diamondbacks, Rockies. Brewers head to San Diego. Giants host the Astros. And the Royals in Los Angeles. Two-time All-Star Tim Anderson announced his retirement from the majors today after 10 seasons in the NFL. Cowboys signing defensive tackle Quinnen Williams to a 3-year extension worth over $105 million, with the New England Patriots locking up tight end Hunter Henry on a 2-year extension worth up to $20 million. Chicago Bears wideout Luther Burden III expected to miss the preseason with a groin injury, while Commanders star left tackle Laramie Tunsil will undergo surgery to repair torn triceps. He will miss significant time, but the team hopes to have him back this season. And in the WNBA tonight, the Dream hosting the Tempo at 6, and at 8 o'clock, the Sky head to Seattle. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our old friend Kevin Karius, and we'll talk some Bruins with Steve Conroy of the Boston Herald. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at StonyPlainEagles.com.
Come on down to the Brick. The Price is Right live event is on now.
Bye,
Enter in-store for your chance to
like,
instantly win from over $1 million in prizes. No purchase necessary. Then shop incredible savings throughout the store, like up to $2,220 off select sectionals, up to 40% off select mattresses, up to 20% off select major appliances, and up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus, finance with 0% interest and equal monthly payments on qualifying purchases. Hurry in before these offers end August 12th. The Brick, saving you more.
Need an excuse to upgrade your ride? Well, we got a few to share.
Go Auto has over 18,000 new and used vehicles ready to test drive right now. With more than 70 locations, your perfect match could be closer than you think. A family-friendly SUV for soccer practice, a fuel-sipping commuter, or a hardworking truck that's ready for anything. Trusted brands and a team that's actually happy to help. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Barbecue season. Nothing like a great steak. Which reminds me, Metal Supermarkets has even created custom grill tops for rusted old barbecues. Just one of the many special requests they've received over the years. You'll be amazed what their skilled crew can do. Barbecue grills to grills for classic cars. Sky's the limit. Speaking of sky, that's a lot of smoke up there. And fire in the hole. My steak. So long, sirloin. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care, Edmonton's multidisciplinary health clinic at West Edmonton Mall. Physicians, physio, massage, sports psychology, and more. One team, one roof, one plan. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Oh, buddy, that is such a good tune. Oh, it's a classic. You play that one on the bus, all the boys will be singing along. Well, the girls too, but all the boys, sure. Classic. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Your one-stop shop. Sports, casino, live dealer, lottery, instance, all in one place at PlayAlberta.ca. And the spec report for the next week will be the Karius report. Brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. And guess what? They're hiring top men, pipe layers, but also now a superintendent. So you can get in. Apply today, GS Construction. Look up careers at gsconstruction.ca. Hey, as we welcome in, good friend of the show, old Bones, who's now retired, Kevin Karius. KK, how you doing?
Good, Greg. How you doing, big guy?
Oh, well, I'm good. I love that you're sideways on your screen. That's such a classic technology from Karius on the screen.
It's not what you want. And plus, I just poured myself a Dickorita, just to, enjoy retirement. I highly recommend it.
Oh, yeah. How is it? Because it's now been officially like 5 weeks.
Yeah, about 6 weeks. Yeah.
Weeks. What's your number one thing you've learned in retirement?
It's everything. You don't have to do everything as quickly maybe as you did in the past. What you got to do is just enjoy it. Take your time. Like if you don't get it done today, you can get it done tomorrow. That's probably the number one thing.
Now, in retirement, how many extra hours of are you out there with a spritzer and just spraying down your tomato plants now? What's happening?
You know what? I just picked. Look at these. Look at these beauties right here. I just picked these just right now, just off the cherries. Just right now. But No, I fertilized probably this morning, the last fertilizer for the year, and we're probably getting into the harvest probably in 2 weeks. Everything's late, but the tomatoes are looking really, really good for sure.
Okay. All right. Can you turn your phone the other way so it's upwards?
Is that what you want? This way.
There we go. Yeah. Now you're actually up straight. The other way you were sideways. So that looks way better.
Oh.
Yeah. So there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's much, much, much better. Okay. Now, what's in the Dickarita?
Tequila and then lemon lime Crystal Light. And I got Colin Livingston on these things, and that's all he drinks now. He's changed his whole, because he's the margarita king.
Yeah.
Now he just drinks Dickaritas.
With Chris, they still sell Crystal Light. Like, are you the main like purchaser of it?
Well, you got to buy it in bulk, so we don't want to run out because it's tough to find in some places. But
I would think so.
When you're thinking you put all the stuff in a normal margarita, there's a lot of sugar and a lot of bad stuff. At least this is not that bad for you, but
not as bad for you.
Not
okay.
as bad.
All right. So now, are you on the retirement? Like, is it 5:00 somewhere every day, or do you wait until 5:00 to have your first retirement drink of the day?
No, it doesn't matter. Whatever time you want to have one. If you want to have one at 1:00 or 2:00, doesn't matter. Whenever you want, you just do whatever you want.
And how many rounds of golf have you had in retirement?
I've probably got about 25, 30. Played David Schlemko's Glendale golf course yesterday.
Pretty tough, dude.
The hardest course in town, I think. It's just the greens were lightning fast. It's just hard course.
Yeah,
but Schlemmer's obviously probably, he's one of the best golfers going for like a former hockey player. So he actually asked me if I could make it out on Thursday, but I'm already booked up on Thursday. So, but it's a tough course, but it's a lot of fun too. It's a good course.
Yeah, it's in great shape despite all the rain that's pelting down endlessly out there. 6-3. The Elks at the halfway point of the year. They played Montreal, Saskatchewan, and BC twice. Won't see any of those two. Well, they see Saskatchewan once the rest of the way. But what do you make of the Elks' first half?
I think it's a positive. I think there's a lot of room to grow here as a team. If I were to say, would you be happy with the 6-3 at the halfway point? I think most people would. But 2 losses in a row is tough. They got to get back on the winning track this weekend against Toronto. But if you were to say as a whole, you'd be genuinely pretty happy with the 6-3 record. But as I said, I think there's a lot of work to do here yet. I don't think this team is at the level of a Saskatchewan and obviously Montreal is the best team in the league. But I would say that they are, if they're not the third best team, they're probably fourth. And it just depends on me if you're looking at Calgary or BC, because I think both those two teams are going to come on in the second half.
Yeah. Well, I look at Edmonton and I think there's lots of positives. There's some areas that they still want to work on. My big concern still has been at times, I don't love the play calling. How the hell does Rankin only have 7 touches in a game where he's averaging 8.9 rush yards per carry? He touched the ball 7 times. It doesn't make any sense.
It's a concern for sure. But are you looking at it this way, that that's what the defense is giving you? Because, after his great start, I think that the other, opponents that they were facing basically just keyed in on him. And now the play calling had to get away from him. If they can get him the ball, 14, 15 times a game, I think that's when the success is going to be more prevalent. And I think that's got to be one of the keys here moving forward, to double those touches for him. And if it's through the passing game, fine, because a lot of them are just little dumps and swing passes. So it's almost like a design run, but it's a pass.
Yeah, like I just, the whole adage you take what the defense gives. I love what we had Rick Walters on, and he said it's players over plays. You at the end of the day, you have to have a number in your head about how many plays you want Rankin to be in, and I sure as hell can't be 7, right? Especially when every time they ran the ball in the first half, he was getting 8 or 9 yards. So I'm like, keep doing that, and it didn't happen. it's not the only reason they lost the game, but that's an odd one for me. Now they got to bounce back, and hey, they've had 2 losses in a row. Very close game against Saskatchewan that their red zone didn't really get it done. What did you make of? I love the one 3rd and 5 gamble, KK, but then I didn't understand why you wouldn't follow that up on 3rd and 1.
That's the big head scratcher for sure, because that's the difference in the game, because it was all about momentum. And you can talk about what happened, as soon as Montreal got the ball back. But that's the head scratcher for me. And I think if you put a little truth serum into Mark Killam, he would say I'd like a do-over on that. And you could tell if you look at Cody Fajardo. I mean, he's stunned. When he's leaving the field, he's shocked that they didn't go for it. So I think if Killam would have a do-over, he would like that 3rd down gamble.
Oh, yeah, without question. But overall, you know what? For a team that hasn't been close for a long time, 6-3 is good. The toughest part of their schedule is over. It sets up, if they take care of business here, they should be in the playoffs without a question. And potentially, could be battling Saskatchewan here for first place, depending on how things go in the second half.
Well, things even last year, Greg, as I said, I really felt that the way the team was moving in a positive direction, both on and off the field. At the end of last year, I said with Eddie Steele that I felt that this team would host a home playoff game this year. And that's obviously very, very much a possibility right now. As you said, they still have a lot of business to take care of, but I still think that they will host a home playoff game.
Okay. Looking at, and I know you're in, the good news about your retirement is now you can spend even more time in your baseball rotisserie league. You look at the wild card race in the American League, KK, and there's 6 teams within 3.5. A lot of those teams have traded guys away, right? Who do you like of those 6 teams the best to be the 3rd wild card spot?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's so many teams that are in there that are close and closely matched. Boston's playing so well right now. We're going to see a good game tonight. Sonny Gray's pitching very well for the Red Sox. Texas is a team that is sneaky good. They've got some pitching that, we've got some guys coming back too, like Bradford just got back off the DL. They've got some guys that have had very underperforming seasons. Like Corey Seager's had his worst season in his career. So that's a sneaky team in Texas. Seattle's, with their off the say thing.
All right. Well, did your feet just retire there? Hans, is that what happened here? Did one of his tomato plants?
Kind of lost you, Greg. I can't hear you, buddy.
Oh, you can't? Okay, well, we'll try to connect you on your phone. So we'll figure it out. But, he was there, and then he just disappeared. So, either way, I was looking at Saskatchewan because here's the thing. So Saskatchewan's final 3 games of the season, they play Monday on Thanksgiving against Montreal in Montreal. Then they play Saturday at home. So that's kind of like a Labor Day weekend, really, between Montreal and Saskatchewan, right? Monday in Montreal, and then the Saturday in Saskatchewan. Then they play Edmonton the final week of the season. They've also got BC twice, and they play Winnipeg twice. Like Saskatchewan's done with Ottawa. They've got one more against Toronto and Hamilton, kind of the weaker teams here. So Saskatchewan's schedule is actually way harder than Edmonton's schedule is. So, we'll see how that plays out. And then also in the wild card, it's fat. Like this week, Kev, I think honestly, this is the week that's going to determine it for the Jays. You got 4 against Boston, 3 against the Yankees. If they could somehow come out 4-3 and not even 5-2, but 4-3, then they're still right in the race, and they got through one of their toughest weeks.
Well, I think you got to just keep winning series. And I mean, they played really well against Philadelphia. Could have won yesterday. I mean, that game could have went either way in the 12th inning. But this is a team, and I know you've been harping on it. I've been talking about Vladimir Guerrero for on the air for months, and about just how lost he looks at the plate. I don't know if you ever caught that interview. We had Orby Franchuk on.
Yeah.
And Orb was the Boston Red Sox hitting coach back when they won the World Series 22 years ago, I guess it would be. And he kind of broke down that swing. And then I was also talking about Harold Reynolds on MLB Network, broke down Vladimir Guerrero's swing compared to the World Baseball Classic, and then also the swing that he's been lost at the plate right now. And it's like night and day. And it all has to do with his lead foot. He stretches his lead foot out too much. And by that point, he's getting too far past the plate. And then it's like a golfer, when you're off balance and you can't get that follow through. That's what Vladimir Guerrero is doing. I can't believe that they haven't picked up on this more so and tried to rectify it. But Reynolds did a great job breaking it down, and so did Orfranchuk. He said basically the same thing. So he's got to get it going here in the last 40, 50 games.
Oh God, yeah, like it's kind of ridiculous just how little, like, he hits a home run and then people in Toronto go crazy. I'm like, yeah, good. He hits one home run every 20 games. Like, yippee. Like, and the thing is though, and when I listen to your explanation from those guys and they talk about it, like, I don't know if I've seen a player who hits the ball harder into the ground this year than Vladdy. Like, just the other day in extra innings, that high hopper, I'm like, God, that's a tear. Just get in the outfield and you win the game.
And that's because he's off balance. And again, like, everything with his weight shift going through the plate, everything's just ahead by a fraction of an inch, and his weight is now all on that lead foot. And that's why the power that we've seen him generate for so many years, that's where the power's down too. He's still, and as you say, when he's chopping down at the ball, that just shows you that his timing and weight transfers off.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. As we're getting closer, we're just 5 weeks away from starting the NHL season. And, I don't expect the Oilers to make any moves. I honestly don't think the Oilers need to make any moves to start the season. You've got your two superstars. You've got your elite defensemen. You've got some good secondary guys. You've went out and got 3 goaltenders, so you can figure it out. What do you think happens in the goalie rotation?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? I would imagine that, Mike Babcock would want to see one of these guys take the bull by the horns, because I just don't see a 3 goalie rotation working as they are trying to implement it. But with Anderson's injury history, age, miles, the whole bit, I think that if he can get off to a decent start, he's the number one guy. How long he holds on to that, that's the big question. I don't think anyone likes a 3 goalie rotation. And I think that you're playing with fire a little bit here, but I think Babcock would be the first to say that he's hoping that one of these guys, most notably Anderson, would be able to take the bull by the horns and run with it.
Yeah. KK, good stuff, buddy. We'll talk to you all week long. Get your outsmart your phone by tomorrow, and we'll be back.
Sounds good. Thanks, Greg.
There you go. It's Kevin Karius, former host here on Sports 1440. He's filling in for Spec this week, as Spec has gone away camping. So it'll be the KK report. 5:23. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, a team that's been pretty darn good, well, for a long, long time when you consider it, but haven't had much real playoff success. Is that changing? How do they change it? Find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night. Call Legacy. If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Whatever the job, consider it done with the Lawnmower Hospital in Ego, the top-rated brand in cordless outdoor equipment. Their universal battery platform takes you from mower to trimmer into the mini bike with just one battery. They keep the party going with the Ego misting fan on those hot summer days, and then keep the party going with the Ego Bluetooth speaker at night. Check lawnmowerhosp.com now for stock and pricing.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's 1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks as always for listening and watching the show. Appreciate it. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can try your luck in a variety of different things. Live dealer, instance, lottery, casino, and of course, sports. Check it out at PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time now to get to Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's continues on. You can sip on refreshing small fountain drink or small iced coffee for only $1. And remember, download the McDonald's app and get cones for only $1 at McDonald's. As we stop in Boston as we continue our summer of Around the NHL, Steve Conroy, longtime beat reporter for the Boston Bruins, writes at the Boston Herald, joins us. Steve, good afternoon. How you doing?
Well, good afternoon to you out there. Good evening here in Boston. How are you?
Hey, we're excellent, Steve. I was looking at the Bruins, and, you know, they've been a perennial playoff team. I know that 2025 was a little bit of an aberration for them, but for the most part, they have. Now, they haven't had much success in the playoffs lately. Part of their division, just part of the, it's hard to win more than anything. If you look at this Boston team today, how do you see them different or better than last year?
I'm not sure I see them better yet. That doesn't mean they can't be better. What they, so far anyway, and unless they make any more moves before the end of the summer, what I've seen them do is pretty much, kind of tread water a little bit. Victor Arvidsson and Andrew Peak are out, in are Will Borgen and JJ Peterka. But the key for this team, like I said, unless there's an unforeseen move, the key is for their young players to take the next step and to take this team to the next step. Fraser Minton had a really good rookie season. James Hagens, we only got a taste of what he might be able to do. So we'll be very interested to see what he does this year, whether he starts as a wing or at center. I think he's a much better center than he is a wing so far from what I've seen. You got Marat Husnadinov, who has been, you stick him on the fourth line or you stick him on the first line, and he does whatever role he's been asked. And they've got another couple of guys who, basically getting their first real taste of the NHL on the back end. Frederick Brunet, who has been a really good player in the AHL for them down in Providence. And also Michael DiPietro in net, which made Eunice Corpusalo expendable. So we'll see how much of DiPietro can, take off of, how much of the load he can take from Jeremy Swayman.
Let's start with, their big move obviously was getting John Jason Peterka in that trade. He comes in, and do you have any guess on where do you think he'll fit best? Will he play with Pasternak, or do you think he plays elsewhere?
I have a feeling they're gonna try him with Pasternak. Morgan Geekie has played a lot with Pasternak, and it's been a boon for Geekie.
Yeah.
He's a 30-plus goal scorer the last couple of years, and it's been great for him. But I think it's also kind of taken Pasternak out of what he does best, which is shoot the puck.
Right.
Pasternak early last season, he said that Morgan Geekie can be a 50-goal scorer. And then the rest of the season, it seemed like Pasternak was intent on making that happen. He passed so often. I think he's best served as being the go-to guy, the guy, with the one-timer and all that. But we'll see. We'll see what Marco Sturm has in store for Peterka.
Yeah, well, it's interesting what you say about, Pasternak. And hey, I like Pasternak, the passer. Sure, that's great, but you still want him to be a shooter. That's one of his biggest weapons. And maybe Geekie can clearly shoot the puck, so maybe they're better separate on different lines. What about a guy like James Hagens? Where do you see him making this team? What do you think, Boston? What's their plan with the young player? Do you think he'll develop in the American League for a bit or start in the NHL?
I think unless he completely falls on his face in training camp, he'll be here. He's the highest pick they've had since Tyler Seguin. There's some excitement about him. I think that they probably want to temper expectations a little bit on him, but I think they would like to have him in Boston. The question to me is whether he starts on the wing or whether they let him play at center, which if you watch any of the World Championships, he started on the wing. He was so-so. They moved him to center, and he looks just so much more comfortable there. So he may have to force his way in there and play the first few games or first few weeks or whatever it is, on the wing, and then see if he can move one of the veterans over to wing and he goes in the middle. They've got Elias Lindholm, who, for whatever reason, he's been dealing with a bad back, and he just has not lived up to being a top six centerman for them. He can be effective in spots, but he hasn't been the number one center that they were hoping he was going to be. At least be the number one center, to play with Pasternak. He didn't necessarily have to be the line driver, but he had to carry his weight on that line. He hasn't really been able to do that. So he may drop down to third line center, and maybe Hagens can play well enough and force him over to the wing. Who knows? We'll see. I think there's a lot of question marks about this team because of the youth.
Yeah, Steve Conroy joins us now. Looking at the operation, got Don Sweeney as GM. Quietly, didn't get to talk about Kevin Adams, former GM of the Sabres. He's now a senior advisor to the GM. Dennis Bonby got promoted to assistant GM. Also, Jeremy Rogalski as well. Then you got even Zdeno Chara in hockey operations advisor and mentor. Do you think Chara is somebody who down the road would like to be in a bigger role? I know he's a guy, kind of the man of mystery. He's He's involved in lots of different things. Do you see management at a big role in his future?
That's a good question because he's never been a guy who does things half measures.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also, I don't see him as a guy who's, wants to be in an office all day long in press box, every night of the season. He, like you say, he's got so many different interests. He's the cycling and the running now. He's a marathoner, which is amazing as a 6'9" guy. But yeah, that's my gut tells me he doesn't really want to go that way, at least not for a while. But you never know. Like I say, he's not a guy who does things half measure.
Well, I know he's beloved in Boston. So, sometimes from a PR perspective, you look at it, how much of a bonus potentially that would be looked upon. So I was just kind of curious when I was looking at how they built that team structurally. What about the Kevin Adams signing? What did you make of that?
Yeah, it's interesting. They lost a couple of assistant GMs. Jamie Langenbrunner wanted a different challenge somewhere else, so he ended up with Nashville. And Evan Gold just left and was just signed by the New York Islanders for basically the same role that he had in Boston. So there was an opening there, and Sweeney had talked about wanting to get some new blood in there. And 8 months ago, so who wants Kevin Adams, right? But turns out the team that he built turned out to be a pretty good team. So maybe he does know what he's doing, and his voices would be valued.
Yeah, no, I can understand it. It always maybe takes a little bit longer sometimes to see how the development goes. Overall, Steve, when you just look at the organization, you look at that division, probably the toughest division in hockey, I would think, right now. Buffalo and Montreal look like they're coming up, and Toronto maybe retools. You've got obviously Tampa Bay, and now a healthy Florida team. Kind of where do you look at Boston, and what has to happen for them to get in the playoffs this year?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think top to bottom, it's the toughest division. Maybe over in the Central, you got those first three teams, but then it drops off after that. But the Atlantic is brutal. Florida is back in it, and you assume that they're going to compete for the title in the division. Montreal is coming. I think we all see that. If they can qualify for the playoffs again, and these young players take the next step, then they'll be lucky to do that. It'll be good on them if they're able to do that and maybe sneak into the fourth or the fifth slot in the Atlantic and get in. It's a brutal division. Even Ottawa now, I know they lost Brady Tkachuk, but I think they've got a lot of talented players who've got a little something to prove right now. And I don't think they're going to be an easy out. The biggest question mark in the division, obviously, is Detroit now with, who knows what's going to happen with the Larkin thing and all that. But there's a lot of good teams in this division. Tampa Bay is always going to be there. They may not be, the upper echelon of the teams in the league now, but they're still up there. So it's going to be tough, and it will depend mostly on the young kids. It'll depend on whether J.J. Peterka can take the next step in his career. He's only 24 years old. He's a German kid. There's a feeling that maybe he'll be copacetic with Marco Sturm, and Sturm will get the best out of him. So they'll need him to be 25, 30 goal scorer. So yeah, there's they have a shot, but it'll be up to the kids, I think.
Steve, great rundown, man. I appreciate your time so much. Enjoy the rest of your summer.
All right, Chase, you too.
There you go. That's Steve Conroy. John, I always love it when we get the real Bostonians guys. Just give them their accents. Unreal. I love it. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and we got our stats of the day. Something are we ever going to see again? Next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering. A happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Come on down to the Brick. The Price is Right live event is on now. Enter in-store for your chance to instantly win from over $1 million in prizes. No purchase necessary. Then shop incredible savings throughout the store, like up to $2,220 off select sectionals, up to 40% off select mattresses, up to 20% off select major appliances, and up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus, finance with 0% interest and equal monthly payment on qualified purchases. These offers end August 12th. The Brick, saving you more.
It's been a seafood summer.
You know, I've been grilling delicious catch of the week mains pretty much every other night.
And I've brought fresh seafood finger foods and nappies to every weekend hangout.
Now, if you feel like you've missed out, Luke has the perfect chance for you to stock up on your summer seafood.
That is right, because our anniversary sale is this weekend with huge saving, giveaways, and draws. See you there this weekend.
Catch of the Week, Edmonton's best seafood, just off the Henday, 5 minutes from Sherwood Park. Details and directions at catchoftheweekedmonton.com.
Hey there, it's Brandon Douglas from Sports 1440. I was tired of slow, unreliable internet connections, so I signed up for Starlink. It's fast, reliable even in bad weather, and has made streaming for movie nights and online gaming so much better. The summer doesn't mean a break from watching sports, and I've been streaming all the games seamlessly when at the family farm, despite the remote location. If you're ready for a better internet experience, you can order online in 2 minutes at starlink.com/radio or call 1-888-GO-STARLINK.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think,
Wow, great hair transplant.
I want them to think,
Wow, great hair.
Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Fundraise for your team or charity at On the Rocks. They'll make custom tickets for your event that includes no line, cover, and one drink for your event. You keep the profits. Learn more at ontherocksYEG.com.
The Jason Gregor Show on Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports. It's Sports 1440.
Presented by Play Alberta, where Alberta wins with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app.
Here's Jason Gregor.
$5:43. Welcome back. How you doing as we wrap up? Man, this day just flew right by. It's almost 6 o'clock. I love it. For Mondays, which sometimes can drag on, we just flew right through today. I love it. And hey, how about the new acquisition for the Blue Jays? It's only given up one. It was an infield hit, but that's a pretty good first 3 innings for Talon for the Jays. 3 Ks. 1 hit, no runs. See if Toronto can. Now they're going up against Sonny Gray, which is not going to be easy. And guess what? They don't have a hit through 2 innings, so we'll see. Could be a very fast game, and we will have the conclusion of that game right here. We'll take it in progress once our show is over. As always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. So let's get to our stats of the day. Brought to you by All Star Construction, specialize in underground utilities, power, gas, telecommunications, street lighting, and more. And hey, you're looking for a gig right now? Go to Indeed.com. They got lots of different opportunities for general laborer. If you're a hydrovac operator and more, check it out at Indeed.com. So The stat I want to talk about, I want to start off first with something that we might never see again. Max Scherzer on the weekend moved into 10th place all-time on the strikeout list with 3,516. Now, if he stays healthy the remainder of this year, there's a good chance he could pass Gaylord Perry for 9th. Gaylord Perry has 3,534. Justin Verlander's still pitching. He could move into is he healthy? Verlander still pitching? I think he is. But he's at 3,554. So he has a chance to get to Sutton. Now, if Mad Max comes back next year, he would likely move up into to 7th place and maybe challenge Tom Seaver for 6th. But we're talking like Scherzer, it's almost at times when you forget just how dominant he is. So he's had 3,516 strikeouts in only 2,999 innings. It's the fewest innings of anybody in the top 10. His 10.55 strikeouts per 9 inning is the 8th best mark ever. And only Randy Johnson amongst the top 10 leaders in K was better. Like Max, injuries threw him down, but when this guy's on the bump, he can strike people out. He's had 109 Ks with the Jays, but most of his games came with the Nationals. 1,610, and then he had 1,081 with the Tigers, then the Mets, Diamondbacks, Blue Jays, Rangers, and Dodgers. But here's the thing. So if you look at active players and say, okay, could anybody get there? Chris Sale, he's had a great resurgence kind of later in his career in Atlanta. He would need 4 elite seasons to get there, like 200 strikeouts a year, basically, for 4 years. He's 37. Seems unlikely. Then you got Garrett Cole. Now, he's currently at 2,338. So he would need what? How many more seasons of 185 strikeouts, right? A lot. So I don't know. Now, Tarek Skubals had a great start. He's only 29. He's already at 1,011. But even then, 1,011, like, how many more he's going to go? Like that, you're talking a guy who's still like 2,000 away. So I don't even know if you can even mention him. Like, he's not even a third of the way there. And he's 29 years of age. So I'm going to say, unlikely. It's just, so he's one of 35 pitchers to have multiple no-hitters. He's one of 11 to have 3 Cy Young Award winners. And now he's top 10 in strikeouts. Like, it's one of the greatest pitchers we've ever seen. And just the way the game's going with shorter appearances and pitch count and everything, I'm just not sure you're going to see anybody getting even in the top 10. Like, no one's obviously challenging Nolan Ryan, but even getting in the top 10. And still, like, when we talk, goats of goats, how is Nolan Ryan? Like, just Nolan Ryan had 5,714 strikeouts. Randy Johnson was next at 4,875. Right? Roger Clemens, who is a fireball, he was 1,000 behind him at 4,672. And then you got like Steve Carlton, who's 4th, and he is just under 1,600 behind him. Like, Nolan Ryan, when we talk all-time just individual award, we probably overlook how dominant he is in one aspect of the game that no one else even came close to. Right? Not even close to. So
remember our topic last week that Declan brought up being like a very good player but not ever being considered the best? Nolan Ryan never won a Cy Young. That was texted into us. That blew my mind.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good one.
Like that, yeah, I thought that would have been the answer. I apologize. I don't know who the name came from, but struck out the league, led the league in strikeouts 11 occasions, 8-time All-Star, was a champion. Like, was he just on bad teams a lot of the time? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, that Nolan Ryan's actually a very good one for that conversation.
Yeah.
So, great players who were never considered best at the time. That's a great conversation.
Because his win-loss record is incredible with the games he played, but he's 324 and 292. So only 32 games above?
Yeah.
Like, when I think of him, and didn't see him pitch, retired in 93, I was 6. I think like that guy's got to be like a multiple-time Cy Young winner. That it blew my mind that he had never won that.
Yeah, no, that is valid. Now, on the weekend, you saw Michael Brennan ran away with the Wyndham Championship, finished at 22 under, and that allowed him to secure a spot in the top 70. Also getting in the youngster Jackson Koiven He got in the final spot. There are 2 Canadians in the playoffs, Nick Taylor and Corey Connors. But at the top, Scotty Scheffler. Then you got Fitzpatrick, Young, Wyndham Clark. And if I would have told you this guy is top 5 right now heading into the FedEx playoff, if I would have said Chris Gotterup, how many outside of if you're a super diehard golfer would have people have got that one? I'm going to say not many. Morikawa, Kim, Burns, Fleetwood, and Aberg make the top 10. Then you got Schauffele and Rory McIlroy 11 and 12. But great for the youngster. But what a performance, a dominating performance over the weekend for Michael Brennan. And not only did he win, but he pushed himself into the playoffs, which is pretty fantastic. Some other stat, and I was looking at the strikeouts, and so I kind of wanted to dig into it more. Like I wonder, like Paul Skeens is a fireballer, right? People love him. He's one of the best pitchers in the game, right? I don't think there's any question about that. But you look at pitchers now, and Mizerovsky, how long could he do it? But he's got 204 Ks right now. Like there used to be years when guys would get 300. Right now, he started 22 games. How many more has he got? 7? Maybe? 7 starts left for the Brewers? Probably, Cons, right? So might get close to 30 starts. And so far in 22 starts, he has 204. Almost, it's about 9 innings, 9 strikeouts per game on average. So, he'll get to 260, 265. So you think about it, even if you could do that for 10 years, you're 2,600. Like, you just have to do it for so long, and then you got to stay healthy. It's just crazy. Like Dylan Cease on the Jays, like Dylan Cease has been pretty consistent. If you look at his career the last few years in strikeouts, 226, 227, 214, 224, 215, and now this year he's at 184, and obviously is likely going to get over 200 again for the 6th consecutive season. So, and he has the most Ks in Major League Baseball over that time. But in his career, he's currently only at 14, 15. Like, it's not even halfway, not even to get close to being in the top 10. And I just don't know if it's ever going to be doable. Like, is there now Gretzky's individual point totals, but will we see someone else be top 10 in points? Yes. I think Connor McDavid is likely going to finish career in 2nd. Right? Like if you look at passing in the NFL, we'll see somebody here in this generation that's going to move into the top 10 in passing, like when it's all said and done, right? Pat Mahomes, others. Is there a stat in other sports cons that you see similar to the strikeout ones where you're like, you know what? I'm not sure we're going to see anybody there anymore.
I don't think so, because you look at all these other sports and maybe NBA, just because these players aren't playing as much as they used to. That might be the other one. But in hockey, we're trying to increase the scoring. The NFL is fully doing that, right? Like we've seen the pass interference from the passer. They want to do whatever they can to expand and put up points. Like Kirk Cousins is 19th all time in passing yards. And yeah, you're right. Like Jared Goff could go on a run. Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott is right in there. He's a year older, I believe, than Mahomes. But yeah, I don't think anything is like Major League Baseball in that aspect.
Yeah. So it's a wild thing to see, but I just thought we'd get a little bit of love in the stats of the day to Max Scherzer, because something we might never see again. Awesome. On behalf of Connor Halley, I'm Declan Kruger. Thanks so much for listening and watching the show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Thanks hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. We always appreciate that. Want to keep growing as much as we can there. So thank you very much. We got a busy Tuesday tomorrow on the show, so we look forward to that and more. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. Go Auto, your one-stop shop if you're looking for a vehicle. New or used, they got over 17,000 vehicles at 73 different locations. GoAuto.ca. Find your car today. Good night.
The Sports 1440 update.
Couple games underway in the majors, including the Jays and the Red Sox heading into the fourth scoreless. We'll join that game in progress following the upcoming commercial break on our AM feed. Two other games scoreless: Twins, Orioles, and the Phillies Cards. In the bottom of the first, hope you took the over. Mets lead the Braves 5-2. Later tonight, Angels and the Rangers, Rockies in the desert. You got the Padres and Brewers, Rays, Athletics, Giants, the Astros, and the Royals taking on the Dodgers. From the NFL, Cowboys signing defensive tackle Quinnen Williams to a 3-year contract extension worth just under $106 million. The 4-time Pro Bowler was acquired from the Jets last November. Meanwhile, Patriots keeping Hunter Henry in New England, signing a 2-year extension worth up to $20 million. Chicago Bears wideout Luther Burden III expected to miss the preseason after suffering a groin injury in practice, while the Commanders will be without Laramie Tunsil for a while after he underwent surgery to repair torn triceps. The team hopes to have him back later on in the season. WNBA tonight, 2 games. Dream Tempo at 6, and at 8 o'clock, you got the Sky and the Storm. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Up next on the AM dial, Blue Jays baseball. If you're streaming, it's Fox Sports Radio.